Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us this beautiful Sunday morning. This is your co host, Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs. Joining me as usual every Sunday, we have Andrew, don't get it twisted, Labashe, joining us for a very, very intriguing and very interesting show we want to present to you guys today. First and foremost, if I look mildly hungover, it's because I am. My birthday is on Monday. I'll be turning the big 4-0. My folks
Very
wanted to throw a birthday
nice.
party for me to this weekend, Saturday. So, of course, I'm having my little Modelo in the morning because it's never too early to have a nice little birthday drink. So I wanted to throw that out to you guys. It is an ugly day, actually. It's windy as fuck, which I will get to momentarily here with Andrew. But before we get into all the good juicy stuff, because we got plenty of it today, Andrew, how's it going, dude? What you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Miguel? Nothing, just hanging out at the house. Want to tell you early happy birthday. And it is
Thank you.
strange that you're hitting 40. You
Mm,
don't look 40, but
thank
I'm gonna tell you what's about to happen to you.
you.
You will start seeing memes come over that say, you don't think you look old? Well, in this year, this is what 40 looked like. And you'll start, oh shit, that's what 40 looks like. And, in years, and then you start looking at yourself in the mirror differently. You're like, dude, do I look like that person on all the sitcoms? Those
Mm.
people, man,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
yeah, they don't look like they're 40, bro.
Mm.
We don't look like them, you know what I mean? But we're supposed to be the same age. It's like, what the hell? So you're about to get all that coming to you, and it comes fast, but whatever. We made it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We
Yep.
made it. There's a saying that I hear often. It's like time flies, but we're the pilots. So that's a good way of looking at it, right? We
Yep.
control where it goes. So definitely looking forward to however many more years I got on this earth. Um,
And we
as
write our own story, Miguel.
ah,
This is
good point.
story now number 40. This is a new chapter, right? Got 10 more
Precisely.
years of a new chapter to write. So there you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, good point. Very, very good point. And thank you, everyone, for, of course, for the birthday wishes. So how are your kids doing? You're saying your kids were a little under the weather. Yeah, they're doing all right.
they're doing better. Yes. Still not good enough to go out anywhere. So we're just been hanging out the house this weekend. Um, so yeah, it sucks. Got colds. Not to, I don't have it. Junior don't have it, but the
Yeah,
other three do. And Isadora, of course, doesn't. She's off to college, so she's fine. But
yeah,
three of them are down right now.
yeah. Is it the weather thing? Because I mean, down here in Vegas, dude, it is windy as fuck. Like there's garbage cans like sliding across the street. That's how hard the wind is.
That's what Christina is.
Yeah.
She believes it's allergies because me and Junior haven't gotten it, right. We're in the
Oh
same
yeah, yeah,
house,
yeah.
and yeah, and we seem to be fine. So
Do
that's
you
and
generally
and
suffer from
those
allergies?
no, and
No.
those two, the
Mm.
two little ones, they were in the backyard all last
Uh,
week while it was windy, and yes, that is something Christina's looking towards more of it being than a cold. I'm just calling it a cold
sure.
because I'm the old school parent, right? They got
Yeah,
that's how they used to be, right? He's got
yeah,
a runny nose and he's coughing, he's fucking cold, whatever. He's got a cold.
yeah.
Get chicken soup. Here's some chicken
Yeah,
soup.
yeah. Give him some Sprite and put some vapor rub on his chest to be cool.
That's what they got.
Yeah. It works, yo. It works. It ain't like we're
Of
making this
course
shit
it
up. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to do this thing with me when I had a stomach ache. She'd give me like make me a tea and like give me like a teaspoon of like olive oil or extra virgin olive, just like kill the olive oil and then like chase it down with the tea. And that helped my stomach ache. Like I don't know how, but it helped my stomach
Right,
ache, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
right,
okay,
right.
cool. These home remedies, fuck if I know what the fuck. I can't explain it, but it works.
Yep. So that's what we're doing.
Right on. So, of course, I want to let you guys all know as well because I will be celebrating my birthday technically next weekend. I'll be driving out of town. I'll be headed to Dana Point. If anybody there is in Southern California, by all means, hit me up on Instagram. We're gonna be
Nice.
there. So yeah, I might have a different backdrop. It won't be this cage that I'm in. It'll probably be like the sliding glass door to some fucking beach or something. So that's gonna be my weekend next week. But just because I'll be out celebrating, don't mean that I'm not gonna be making it to the show because y'all deserve it. So I will definitely be available Sunday morning to talk about everything that goes on this weekend. But before we get to that weekend, we got plenty of stuff that happened this weekend. The first topic on the agenda, on the docket that we want to talk about is the zone card, the debacle of a DAZN card last night with Jake Paul, being the co-main event, and basically unintentionally becoming the main event because of what happened in the main event that you guys already know by now. According to the reports, Amanda Serrano had to basically pull out of the fight because of what USA Today has reported, having some sort of chemical accidentally get into her eye while getting her hair done. That's a new one. I'm still waiting for the time where, like, there's a fight scheduled and a girl says, "No, I'm on my period." All right, cool. Then you guys switch it there for date. I'm still waiting for that to happen because that's gonna end up happening. We haven't got there yet, but we're getting. It seems as though we're
terrible,
getting. It seems as though we're getting there because now we got a fight that gets canceled because somebody was doing their hair. Very odd, circumstance. I mean, it's happened with guys too. They're like getting off a bus and they tweak an ankle or some shit, and you're like, what the hell kind of weird stuff is that? So apparently that happened to Amanda Serrano. Hopefully everything is okay as far as like health wise. Understandably, she's gonna have to pull out. She can be fighting with no damn one eye, to the point where the doctors said you're unfit. You cannot continue. You cannot actually proceed to the fight. And she came out to the ring very emotional, crying, letting everybody know, apologizing, and letting them know they're going to be receiving a refund for whatever it was, tickets, I guess, or a partial refund. I forgot what exactly she said, but ultimately that's what ended up happening. So before we get to that, Andrew, did you see Jake Paul?
Yeah, I did, and that was a first. What happened last night I've never seen before in boxing. I went outside right after the Jake Paul fight, if that's what you want to call
session.
it. Yeah, that we'll get into that next. I'm gonna go with the Amanda first. Okay. because it was just a weird. It was a weird. She literally came to the fight and literally that's when she told him she couldn't do it. It seems like she tried to get a clearance all the way until the bell rang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you give her props for that or the opponent was literally dressed, Miguel, to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Gloves wrapped.
Yeah, warming up already. I mean, she got already.
What is going on?
Yeah, it was so bizarre. It's such a unusual circumstance. Like, we've never come across it. Like, was there a full moon out last night or something?
Another thing that was weird is if you hear her interview, or I know you did, but during her interview, she says, "I promise Puerto Rico I'm going to come back and retire here. My last fight will be here." It's starting to make me think that it wasn't a chemical in her eye. They're actually seeing something wrong with her eye, where maybe they're not clearing her because they're saying, look, you get punched one or two more times on the right side. I'm just throwing it out there. Don't know what eye is damaged. I didn't read that report. You're going to go blind. And that's it. This is boxing. Sometimes that report comes back on an x-ray or MRI scan or whatever, however they determine these eye injuries. I believe it's something like that because now unless this fight, Miguel, was billed as her final fight, and I don't know that. Was this one already?
No,
I didn't hear anything like that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just like a title defense, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's gonna go out with a bang with like a bigger fight, So no, I don't remember hearing anything about this being her final fight. No.
So I didn't either. And if that is the case, then yes, it's very weird that she got pulled on the last minute, and now she's talking about, don't worry, I'm gonna come back and retire here. I loved you guys, and she's crying. She's bawling her. It was just sad. It was just all sad. Never seen anything like it. Like I said, I don't know if I to give her credit or to be like, that was kind of bullshit that you didn't even tell your opponent. Give them an ounce of. I guess you can't, right? Because then you're going in blind. She said she was willing to fight blind. It's all bad.
Yeah, it is. Because I mean, here's the thing. I'm trying to like give myself a timeline. Like, was she getting her hair done? And she's like, oh shit. And then she's like, I'm fine. Keep going. Or what? Or did she have like half of the hair done? Or did they say you're already here? Huh?
We blame the commission then. Let's blame the commission because someone needs to take fault for what happened last night, right? You had the crowd booing They weren't happy, which I thought, hey, Puerto Rico, this lady's a seven.
No, was it? Oh, it was pretty cool. Why was I thinking? I'm thinking Miami. What the fuck?
No,
So
it was in Puerto Rico.
It was Puerto Rico. That's right. Yeah.
She's a 7-division champ, 8-division champ.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, right? It's something big, bro. She's one of the greatest women fighters of all time. We're booing her because she waited to the last minute, was possibly going to fight for you blind.
Yeah, one night, exactly, right?
If it was a man, he'd be rained a hero this morning. Like, if it was Trinidad, right? Let's say he's 8-division champ, about to fight Manny. They pull the fight in the locker room, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, you guys. Look, I was going to go in blind. They won't let me. He comes out a hero. Or they're like, you fuck.
Yeah. No, I know that. When I saw that,
coward.
Like, sometimes the crowd can be pretty fucking cruel, right? So
right,
it's like,
man.
when I heard that's like, really? Like, I'm watching like a fucking UFC fight, and some dude gets accidentally kicked low blow, and the crowd boos. It's like, it was an accident. Relax. You know, like, what the fuck?
I was hoping they were cheering and I was hearing it wrong, Miguel. I really did. It wasn't until I read the report where it goes, they were booing. Fuck. That's hella dirty. That woman, one, she's saying she might be retiring, you know, she's crying on stage talking about she's lost sight in her eyes. She can't see. I don't know. That was bad.
Who knows how long? Because as you mentioned, like, it could be that, because it could be they're just covering something up, and what there would be covering is the fact that she might, because I mean, she takes a lot of shots. You know what I'm saying? She does take a lot of shots. Her defense isn't all that, so it's very plausible that she's actually received some sort of like serious eye injury over the course of her career, or experiencing slowly, you know, some sort of injury, and then like now this particular time she didn't pass, because like, I mean, like, what do you do? You know, like, how would you even go about this? I mean, she did it the way she did it. She waited until the very last minute to see if she can get the green light. And when it didn't happen, it's like, well, her opponent is already wrapped up and gloved up and everything. But how else would you have approached it? I mean, that seems to be like the best possible way to do it. Because if not, you go to the corner, or you go to the people, and like, or your opponent, and tell them, hey, I may or may not make it. You know, like,
it's the commission. As soon as the commission found out that one of the fighters had a vision issue where she's not passing the sight, there is no, okay, well, what time is it? All right, the fight's in 36 hours. We'll give you until about 35 and a half hours until we call it. You can't do it like that. So it's their fault, because someone is going to get thrown under the bus. This is too big of a fuck up for it not to. I find it, as it's heroic that she did it that way. It's weird as fuck that she was allowed. So what? So the doctor in the last minute, if he would have said she's good, the commissioner would be like, all right, well, our hands are clean. This asshole right here said he's good. Can you sign that line? All right, he signed the line. He said,
like, could you put your hand above your heart? Like, okay. Like, okay.
Hey, the doctor was like, I'm not signing this. He's like, no, just sign it, bro. I'm not signing this. All right, we don't have a fight. This asshole won't sign it either. We've tried and they're not assholes. People, it's comedy. I'm just fucking with you guys. They're all doctors, and obviously they're legit because none of them signed the waiver to let her go in the ring. So, but that's what I feel like. Is that what was going on? So that guy needs to be looked at. Whoever was it, or that woman, whoever person was in charge of the time frame to allow Amanda to get a clearance on a fucking blind eye.
I mean, because here's the thing. I know it's happened before.
Your review is not going to be a good one, Miguel. Might be some points, Doc.
Like mine is 2 stars for that one. You know, it's like someone's vision is at fucking stake here. You might want to be a little bit more careful. I've heard stuff like that happen. And mind you, it was here in the U.S. Not I don't know how the commission. I mean, Puerto Rico is a boxing crazed nation, so I'm assuming they have some pretty solid judges and doctors for something like this, right? I've seen it happen in MMA. I've seen there's this dude, TJ Dillashaw, who's one of his arms kept like dislocating, his shoulder kept dislocating, and he told the commission, he's like, hey, like, it's happened in training. It's kind of, you know, like, hey, I'm fine now, but just, you know, give you guys a heads up. It might pop out during the fight. pop it back in, kind of thing. And ultimately, that did do him in the fight. It did kind of fuck up his shoulder. So he's had surgery since then. But maybe if Amanda was like, because here's the thing, they weighed in, right? She wasn't done. It was after the weigh-in. Between the time of the weigh-in and fight night is when whatever sad thing happened. So maybe something happened, and Amanda did go to the commission. And they're like, "Hey, I'm kind of having this issue. Give me some time." Maybe she's the one that said, "I'm gonna try to wait till the last minute to see if my vision comes back or the blurriness goes away or whatever extent." I don't know the extent.
It's still not. It's not her call. That's what a commission is in place for, right? A commission is to look out for the safety of the fighter. The fighter doesn't give a timeline of when their eye. No, I think it still falls on the commission. This is an eye. This isn't. And granted, we know dislocated shoulder hurts too, but it's not. You already went in the fight like this, right? Yeah. So it's their fault. It's their fault. Look, I love Jake Paul for saying that he'll give the money back. But now we need to wait for about 2 months to see how many people actually get their money back, because it's going to be a process, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just walk back up to the door and give them their debit card and they put the money back on and gave it back, right? This isn't Monopoly.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, you play the new Monopoly game that has and I know it's not new, but the newer one that has the bank. You just put your card in and it gives you money.
Oh shit! Yeah. So there's no more little dollar bills?
Nope, no dollars now. It's all digital, baby. Come on, new world order, baby. Damn. You have to put a chip first on your hand. No, I'm just fucking playing.
It's like you have to take a shot before you enter the fight. You can roll the dice. It's like, okay. I don't know if it is an obligation.
You're all reading the game rules. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Mom, you're like reading it while you're like piping the fucking alcohol.
There's a Pfizer on the bottom. Pfizer's on the.
You got the. So it's like, oh really, Mom? Is this how it goes? Is this how fucking the rules? Oh,
so anyways, that's no. I don't think the return is going to be that easy, right? Yeah. So let's see what the story is from the fans. The 18,000. What a great turnout these two.
Yeah.
Look, listen, and before I knock him about getting money back, at least he's going to give the people a chance to get their money back. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul continues to do good things for me in boxing. Mm-hmm. He's given fighters the highest payday when he comes here. He beats the shit out of the UFC and clowns White.
Yeah.
Right? I like this kid. Mm-hmm. And last night, hey, they messed up. Get your money back. Don't know if it's going to be easy, but most promoters would have been like, oh, yeah, sorry, shit, it happens,
Yeah, because they're not entitled to. Every time there's a fight card, on the very bottom in the fine print, it said card subject to change. It always fucking happens. It's always there. It's on your tickets. It's on the programs. It's on the fight cards. So there's always going to be that possibility of the cards subject to change. That's just how it is. And because of that, a lot of these promoters, they're not entitled. They don't have to go and give you a refund. But the fact that he's doing it is showing, good faith on his end, and it's thumbs up. It's like, all right, that's really nice of him to do that. And it's everybody feels cheated because we didn't get the main event, but at the very least, there's a nice little band-aid on there and be like, all right, we'll give you, some sort of partial refund because we did have some fights on the fucking card. So maybe we'll give you guys a ticket for a future fight. Like, let's say maybe that might be the thing. If they can't do it quick enough with the refunds, and I say, all right, Amanda's gonna fight again in the future. Y'all keep your ticket stubs. Y'all gonna get a free ticket to the fucking thing. I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
And the sound of the Jake Paul fight, it sounded like they got their main event. Boy, oh boy, did Jake Paul. Man, he had them screaming and on their feet. It's just weird. I know he lives out there. I didn't know his social media presence was that big. Is it his box?
He lives out there?
Yeah, he lives in Puerto Rico now.
Oh,
they're talking about him having a beach house.
A beach house. I mean, I call it like a vacation.
But they also opened a gym. It's Serrano's gym, but he helped open a gym out there.
That's right.
Yeah, and then even when he challenged one of the fighters, it was to come fight him at his house in Puerto Rico. So he's out there for right now. The fans showed up. They weren't booing him. They were cheering. Like it pulls back when he goes on the ring. It pulls back, and he's got what to me is a good applause reaction from the crowd on the knockout. So they seem to got their money's worth. That guy won, you know. Jake, I don't know where he's at in professional boxing. I like that he's giving us a platform, right? Sure. He's making money. So if they wanted to, Oscar and Eddie are all about reaching across the table. So I don't think it's bad to sign with Jake Paul anymore. And I never really was against it, but right now, just seeing the moves that he makes always seem to be good moves. He's winning. He's giving positive looks, right? He's not out there, I smoke weed and drink beer. Please don't do that tonight and have it on fucking Instagram tomorrow. But as of right now, he doesn't seem to be a knucklehead like this, right? He's a good guy, doing the right things for the fighters, does the right things for the fans, puts in the work to fight professional, at least athletes. He's fought in the MMA guys who all know how to punch. They all know how to, they know what a fight is. And now he defeated somewhat of a professional boxer last night. And what was that man's name?
Let's look him up because we keep forgetting his fucking name.
Ryan Borland.
Yeah, Borland.
Borland.
Yeah. Yo,
17-3-6. There's some holes there, right?
And 2 of his losses were KO's losses.
Oh, so he's okay. So he's been knocked out.
So 3 losses total, but 2 of them were for KOs. 1 being against recently, of course, Jake Paul. So yeah, he's I'm
a little surprised he has 20 fights, professional fights. He didn't look like it last night. You know what I mean?
Let's look at, we wanted to touch this up on earlier, how much of inactivity. He does do, for example, 2017, 3 fights, okay. But then from 2018 to 2022, that's a pretty long layoff.
Wow. Right? Oh, yeah.
And from 22 to 24 is another 2 fucking years, right? So we're looking at, there's some inactivity, like more than fucking
2 fights since 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And actually 1 fight. He's actually only had 1 fight since last night. Because we're counting Jake Paul.
Well, yeah, we are. Yeah. Before last night. Yeah.
He only had 1 fight since excuse me. That's what I mean by he might not have been a real boxer last night, right? Well, he had dreams 5-6 years ago. They weren't the same.
He probably, got with somebody, had a kid, and got a job, and he's like, all right, there goes the boxing, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, in a few years, he'll come back, and I was like, oh, shit, okay. And then this opportunity popped up, club fighter. So he's like, all right, cool, let's do it. I just had a second kid. I need the payday. Let's get this shot kakalagan, So that's the direction that he went. But, just the fact that, and I forgot who said this. I was watching ESPN Deportes in Spanish because we have the Dish Latino package. And they were talking about, like, we have to look these guys up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to dig deep to try to find these names because they're not names that are easily recognizable like the MMA guys. So it's like, who the hell is this dude? We have to look him up to see how his record is, yada, yada. We see the record. And I'm sure maybe that's how the matchmakers do it as well. They're like, all right, who's got a decent looking record? Hasn't fought since 2018. Cool, let's do this, But I think that's kind of the narrative that they're trying to paint. Like, look, professional boxer, he's got 20 fights. That's legit, right? Even though the guy hasn't fought in one fucking.
Yeah, no, the record looked good.
Yeah, so that's the direction that they try to go with, at least whenever they choose his opponents. And
it worked.
I never heard this guy before. Yeah, and it continues to work because it's done it like the last 2 fights.
It worked, and now he moves. If he really wants his Canelo dream fight, it shouldn't come after last night. Well, Canelo was just talking about fighting Terrence Crawford. I think the guy's up to anything right now. He fought Amir Khan. Amir Khan wasn't a junior middleweight, right? Hey, Canelo's all about money. Jake Paul gets a legit win. I would not be surprised he does a fight with him. And I'm not knocking him. We were watching Tyson Fury do this stuff, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd. If there's money to be made in these circus matches, whatever, right?
Sure.
Please don't make it a title defense. Please, Suleiman, do not make the Canelo, the Paul fight a title defense. That's when it starts getting bad for us.
Yeah, and don't rank him, please. Don't do the Ngannou fight 1 fight, lose, and then automatically he's ranked. Like, no, I don't think that's how it works. He just leapfrogged a bunch of fucking people on a loss. No, I'm not sure that's how it works.
It says he dropped Tyson Fury on the bottom.
Yeah, he dropped a couple of fucking, there's an asterisk on there. It's like, oh, he did drop him in the 8th round, whatever.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he dropped Tyson Fury. That's why he got the ranking. But so yeah, I don't know where you go with Paul. I believe you're trying to look for an older fighter, right?
Well, how old was this dude? Let me see here. He was.
No, it really doesn't matter because he has no name. I'm talking about a legend. You're looking for a legend, but older, right? He wants to move up one notch. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Roy Jones is that guy anymore. He might be too far over.
Wait, what do you mean too far over? Too old?
Too old. Yeah, too old.
But isn't that the point, though? Isn't that the point to get a guy?
No, because he's trying to get to Canelo, and I don't think Roy Jones is that path there anymore. Okay. He would have to look at
like somebody, a boxing equivalent to, like, let's say Anderson Silva or something like that, like a guy who's up there in age but not in the late 40s.
And in the boxing world, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he has to be in the boxing world. You would say it's going to be the generation of the Andre Wards, even though I know Ward probably wouldn't take that fight. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he has the name. He probably does in the boxing world. Dead serious.
Yeah, not the general public.
Yeah. But if he was to somehow get Ward in the ring and they do a funny fight where he comes out a split decision victory just because Ward hasn't fought in a decade, and you get it, bro.
Yeah.
Then maybe he moves on. Besides that, no, you can't keep feeding him this gentleman from last.
I think his weight class has something to do with it, because historically where he's at, there aren't a lot of, like, I mean, you can look back at, like, the hardcore dudes. We'll see the light heavyweights and the cruiserweights, but for the most part, those are kind of quiet weight classes. So to try to find somebody who's a legend would have to be either like a middleweight or super middleweight, or I mean lower than that, or a fucking heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like Antonio Tarver or some shit. Like who the fuck else? You know what I'm saying?
He has name. He has name.
He's got something. He beat Roy, right? So someone along those lines.
That is a good name. That's a good name. For money, it would be Floyd, right? Floyd has the fight with the brother. They kind of have their own little beef together. Don't know if Floyd would be up to losing, but that's also out of his hands.
Yeah. I don't think Ward would be either. I mean, he hasn't lost since fucking 13 or whatever.
Yeah, and he's probably just not the right guy. He's probably just not the right guy. Probably, and you're probably right. Ward's like, nah, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah, with one arm,
You do know I haven't lost since I was 14 years old, right? I'm kind of one of those guys that doesn't like to lose.
Yeah, and he said it himself. He's like, I'm a terrible loser, so I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, Antonio Tarver, and not like anyone else is ready to set up a loss, but Antonio Tarver is a little bit farther down the road than a Ward. So no disrespect to Tarver, like he's ready to sign I'll get knocked out in the 3rd round papers. Not saying that, but he's a little bit older, and the young man seems to be working out. Jake Paul's big. He throws a lot of punches, probably has some decent power. So he's peaking. You're way down. You're grandpa. That's why we say it's a better fight, right? We are not giving Jake Paul any kind of clout past putting him up against grandpas right now in boxing. Sure. Until he fights somebody in a ranked position, and then he is. Look, he's got 9 wins. We've watched the European fighters come over here with good amateur backgrounds. That's great, but it's not pro, and they get world title shots on their 1st or 2nd shot. Mm-hmm. So he's at 9-0. He has a legit resume of.
No, he lost that one with Fury.
9-1. 9-1. You're right. Fury. He has a legit resume when you say dude, I never thought he was gonna beat Silva. I'm fucking dead serious.
I never thought I thought he was gonna run out of gas. Honestly, I thought he was gonna be too muscular and
yes,
part of the very end. Yeah.
So for the sales pitch side of it, he's got MMA guys that give him clout as far as, he beat up some straight. He's not just some average Joe. Average Joes don't beat all of those names, in my opinion, right? He learned something. He learned something.
And
So
he has something because you can put the gloves on two different kids and you see them swing with no experience whatsoever, and you see which guy can throw, which guy can't throw. So whatever it is, and that he has, Jake, it's with a guy who you put gloves on him and he fucking throws a punch a certain way. So you can kind of see it, in young cats, to see like, all right, this guy is gonna be mopping the fucking floor here because he's not gonna make it any better. Or this guy's gonna be something. And whatever it is, he's got pop. He's young. He's starting to throw. He really put some weight in his punches, and he has that he can swing like that. Because some people just can't.
And he gets all the advantages. He'll probably be the bigger guy, the younger guy,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
they got to keep working those angles, and he should be fine all the way up to Canelo. So right now they're looking at, I think the next step is to try again, but a little bit deeper, on the a fighter with a name, but way farther in age.
Yeah. No, that's he's gonna have to have somebody like that on his record, like you said, the boxing equivalent of that. But chances are, if they're gonna have another, well, I'm not say if, but most likely they will. Amanda Serrano coming back to Puerto Rico, maybe that is her retirement fight or whatever. He's gonna fight again, and I don't remember if they have had like the last few fights. If Amanda was on the same card as him, I think it happened one time before. I don't remember.
They have been. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they have been.
So I see that happening again, right? I mean, now that Amanda wasn't able to fight, so pretty good chance I think they're gonna have another card like that, and maybe
even the last time in New York, one of their fights, the Jake Paul fight, got canceled, and they pulled Amanda, but she was on the same card that night too. When they were supposed to fight, when they were supposed to fight in New York, so they have been on the same card together before.
Yeah,
I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird that they pulled the whole thing just because Jake couldn't go. I thought, Amanda was big enough at that time. They had, their women's boxing was kind of peaking. Really seems like they have let that die down again, right?
Yeah.
Just by not fighting each other, not getting out there,
Top Rank is going to capitalize on that. Top Rank with Sinisa Estrada. She's fighting this one like Peruvian chick, or I forget where she's from, but she's not Mexican chick. She's something else. But they're going to unify the division. I think there's going to be I think they each have 2 belts. I forget her name. She has a unique name, her opponent. But Estrada is fighting this one chick, and Top Rank is taking advantage of it. They're going to try to strike when the iron's hot. So we're going to have, and that's like, when you see fights, for the most part, that's one of the downsides of women's boxing, is that there's usually one super badass chick that just mops the floor with chicks across like 3 or 4 divisions, and she just has to like move up to a higher division to fight someone else who's even on a fucking level, and there's a weight disparity there. Them ladies, I think they're pretty close and they're pretty good. So I mean, obviously, Sinesa Estrada is the champion, so is her opponent. So it's gonna be, that's like one of the first fights where I'm like, damn, this is even. Like, I don't know who the fuck's gonna win this one.
And we have Cyborg came to women's boxing now. She has like 2 fights, 2 knockouts. Her and Shields looks like they're building up something that might. So they're floating around still, because that fight will get hot. I believe if Cyborg signs to fight Shields, there'll be some eyeballs on that. I would be interested. Cyborg's talked a lot of mess. Did you see her tweet? I have more knockouts than you, and I've only been in 2 fights or some shit like that.
And then Clarissa tried to get back like, oh, I had a cold when I met you that day. It's like, well, and the fuck's that gonna do with your KOs? That's not like, what the hell was. But yeah, she did say that. That's a lot. I mean, but here's the thing though, like, we get that hot, like strike when the iron is hot, and then what? Then can we get a rematch out of it or something to like keep the momentum going? Because after that, things cool down, the Jets cool, and then it's gonna be a minute before there's another interesting.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah, no, for real, dude. She moved up to 140 and she got herself a fucking victory, which was a little disputed, but that's exactly what happens. Ends up being like fucking like Katie Holmes, pretty much, or what's her name? Yeah, Taylor. Sorry, Katie Taylor. But anyway, so yeah,
Katie Taylor. Yeah, my bad, Katie Taylor.
Katie Holmes is the fucking actress. We know what's on your mind, Andrew. But the names just are so.
Hey, Oscar De La Hoya, is that Oscar De La Hoya's Big Titty Committee? You remember Oscar De La Hoya? Did you see him?
Yeah,
I don't want to jump. But what's he doing, bro? The day his guy is up there turning it into an AA meeting, I told you, him and Mario had that look.
But they did. But here's the thing: like he's celebrating, or at least it looked like he was celebrating with this chick with the fucking bra, because it's like, woo, we're trending. You know, it's like we got everybody talking about it, right? So he's like totally all about it.
But he's hammered, right?
But he's on something. He's
hammered. I thought he just had some few cocktails, but. Hella funny. I told you he was like Ryan's a rookie.
Yeah.
Ryan's a rookie.
Yeah, coming in. He's like the parachute with the bra, and he's like, and the chick's like, okay. But but he was happy as fuck to be trending. So whatever it is they're doing, obviously doing right? So
and on the watch list, he made it. He made it through. I was expecting Ryan to have a fallout right after this, so I'm glad that he's still in. Because Miguel, now the press conference is over, their tour is over, get his ass out of Dodge, and now that he can breathe, start work training. So hopefully this fight is on now, because once I heard Oscar say that the tour was over in that video, I think is when he says tour's over, we got to fight. It was like, all right, the tour's over. Okay, so he doesn't. You didn't want him to come out again this week after that performance that he pulls off in L.A. Yeah. You don't want him talking to the media or letting Bill Haney and Devin get into his shit again. Like he looked, let's just say Devin won the press tour.
He did. Handily. And he didn't have to try that hard. It was basically Ryan doing his fucking part to make himself look bad.
Did Ryan take a knee again, Miguel? Is that what you're saying?
He might have. Although he got up this time, I guess, right? Because the fight's still on, so he got up.
Yes.
But he did, take a knee with that like fucking face that he makes. So he got.
He went like that. Derek James is like, no, go back. He's like, I don't want to. You fuck with.
Don't touch me. Like, okay, young man, sure, but he took a knee, but he's up, and that's what it looks like, and you can tell, it almost seemed like a sigh of relief from me, like, all right, we got the fucking, press conferences out of the way, fight's on as of now, so, let's, anyway, we're talking on that topic for momentarily, but to finish up on, I guess, on Jake Paul and the Serrano situation, hopefully everything turns out okay with Serrano, and she's got, several, when she mentioned the retirement thing, I think she's already in her 30s, right? Early to mid 30s.
Yeah.
So she's up there in age. I don't know how much longer, she's going to be able to continue doing it at this level, at least. So maybe the end is near. I think
the end is like, at least. The end is near, but I didn't think it would come against an opponent like her, the title defense. I thought she'd be unifying. Maybe trying to go another division. And listen, I don't know where she's at, where everyone else is at. I'm really don't know the career like that on the women's side. But I thought it'd be a bigger step away than what she's kind of proclaiming it's going to be, is this opponent in a title defense in a few months back in Puerto Rico. 18,000 supposedly bought tickets. That's really cool. That's a big sellout. I mean, not a lot of fighters doing that right now. So, and it looked like they were there. Like, you can always tell when the cameras aren't shy to pull back. When they do that pull back and they show you all three decks, that's when you know they had a good turnout. It's when they're only showing you the first two levels, or they show you the eye view and you can only see the inside bowl. You're like, hey, wait a minute, doesn't that camera expand way more?
Yeah. Yeah, and I hear it say it on there. They call it often in wrestling the hard cam. So it's like the main camera, right? Like whenever they put the top rank logo on the fucking ring, it's facing this direction, and you're the hard cam over here. These seats over here, there ain't nobody there. They try to make it over there. Right. That's when they don't want to pull out. But when they do pull back and they like zoom out, and it gets like a wider view of the rest of the audience, and then you see how full the arena really is. Yeah. So I mean, props to them for filling up that arena. Hopefully she can make it back, and obviously, and not really so much make it back per se, but like the condition of her eye, which is obviously more important, right?
Right.
If she gets to the point where she makes it back into the ring, fantastic. But the primary is her eye concern.
Because seriously, she's saying one more fight.
Yeah,
that's really what it sounded like last night. I'm gonna come back and retire here, Puerto Rico. Like, Yeesh.
Yeah, I mean, the second they start even mentioning that word, it's because they probably already have one foot out. That's
Yep.
usually the case. I'm sure there's some exceptions out there, but for the most part, that's the case. But yeah, good for her. Hopefully, she does make it back and everything turns out all right there. Whatever the hell is next for Jake Paul, we kind of have a general idea, or at least our suggestions, if we can call it that, because they're gonna go whatever direction they're gonna go. But yeah, Jake Paul, if you're listening, find yourself
If you
a name in
if you
boxing.
believe Bill Haney, Dollar Bill might be needing to call Jake Paul.
What?
He calls Floyd Dollar Bill now. I don't know
Oh, does
why.
he?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's hella funny though. He keeps calling him Dollar Bill.
oh shit! I haven't heard him say that before. I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
heard him
hella
like call him that.
yeah, it's hella funny. I don't know why. I don't know if he's got some inside information on Floyd's financial status right now, but he
Oh,
keeps
damn.
calling him Dollar Bill.
Maybe he's down to the last dollar bills. I'm sure that might be why he's calling it that, right? It's like you're dwindling, bro, to the point where you
Well,
need
we
videos.
we heard Floyd talking about. I don't know where that rematch with Manny is. They kind of announced that they were doing the
Mhm.
rematch. I don't know where that went. You know what I mean? And then so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if
Yeah.
Floyd's talking about fighting Manny again, it's not for clout. It's for money. You know.
Yeah, and we'll touch up on or reconnect to the Bill Haney talk here momentarily, and Floyd
Oh,
Mayweather, and the sparring session that has been making the
oh
rounds. But before we get to that, there was some fights on last night besides the Serrano and Jake Paul card. ESPN had a pretty solid card, top ranked,
yeah.
right? The main two fights. There was some fights on the other card that were okay, but again, I was hosting a party yesterday, so I was trying to like halfway, tend to my guest and then still manage to catch some of the fights. I had to watch them again later on, but by that point I was already tired. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch the main event and the main event, and the co-main event and the main event.
Of
So
course.
we will touch on that. First and foremost, that main event. Damn. Um, Please, by all means, if you can pronounce the damn names, because I'm terrible at them.
Uh, Obatek
But check. Call,
Malakoff.
mm, yes.
No,
Call
is that a bomb? Did I just say
It
a
is.
bomb?
It is that one that you throw with the fucking. It's Kalmatov. Kalmatov. I pulled it up on my TV here.
There you go.
Kalmatov.
Kalmatov.
That's what it was, at least, because I mean I'm terrible with names, and I get it, but like, and especially with these like foreign names, right? It's a little bit more difficult. We're more used to the names that here are the Americanized ones. So I'm gonna pull it up here on my phone just to make sure I don't fucking mispronounce it, because it was a solid card, right? It was a double header, right? We got Raymond Ford. He was the opponent. They were fighting for a vacant title. I think it was the WBA title. I think it was the vacant featherweight title. So
Kolmatov. Kolmatov.
Komatov. Thank you.
Obatek Kolmatov. Yes,
All right.
sir.
So
Odabek.
so
Odabek.
let's
Odabek
Odebek.
Kolmatov.
All right, cool.
Odabek.
That's
Odabek
the
is easier. I'm
yeah.
just
It's
calling him
it's got
Odabek.
fewer syllables, so we'll go that
Yep.
direction.
Yes, sir.
Um, fought Raymond Ford, right, and we can call him Ford, of course, make things a little easier. But that damn, what a fun fucking fight that was. It was for a vacant title, if I'm not mistaken, WBA featherweight title, and it was the scoring. So here's the thing, because I have the ESPN Deportes channel, I can watch it on ESPN Plus. But when I ended up watching on Deportes, they have their own scoring, right? And usually they have a Harold Letterman type of person scoring the fight, which is the unofficial official. So I don't know if who were the main commentators. Was it Kriegel and Joe Tessitore, or was it I forgot who it was calling them.
Bradley. Yeah, it was Bradley and them.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know who was actually scoring that one, their unofficial scoring, but they had it pretty close. Like the one that I was watching, seemed to have it pretty close going into the final rounds. What a magnificent fight it was. It was fun. Two southpaws. We don't get to see that often. But goddamn, what a fight it was. In the end, Raymond Ford came out with the victory, like damn near Chavez Taylor-ish, with like 7 seconds left in the 12th round. Ended up finishing Odebek. Damn. And it was, I don't know, they were in New York, I believe. Is there no like standing gate count in New York or something? Because the referee didn't step in to
No,
like
no,
do
but
that.
I think it was because he turned his back. He
Oh,
turns
yeah.
his back, he takes two punches, and now it's the protection of the fighter. You are not supposed to turn your back. He does it. He takes two shots. I think the ref has nothing else he can do. I that was going to be part of my thing. Odebek did a lot of good things in the ring. He's a big featherweight, strong puncher. But what he's lacking in is his foot movement, fighting off the back foot. They were saying it a lot about Ford, right? Ford can counter, he can engage, he can move back. It's always power. It's always something nice. Odebek has only got one gear. He's either coming forward with some strong punches, or really everything else is
defense. Yeah.
Defense is his offense going backwards.
Well, his hands are low right off the bat, and notice how low his hands are. And like he could take a punch, obviously, because Ford was landing some nice shots on him. But there were a couple of times when I'm like, dude, bring up your fucking hands. Like, what the hell? His quick, because immediately early in the fight, he tags Ford and
he's winning.
Him,
he's winning,
right? And he's like, oh, this fucker's got power. Damn, all right. And he starts like landing these shots. And for a quick second, I mean, early. Ford gets caught with some punches and he tries to do like, nah, like I'm fine, kind of think he nods at him, and then he gets tagged and he's like, oh shit, let me take this seriously. So it kind of took a second for him to wake up and realize that he's in a fucking scrap. And by that point he started to kind of respond a little bit more. But there was a point in the middle of the fight where it looked like Odebek kind of like stepped wrong or something. Like he was in his southpaw stance, and I think I want to say Ford caught him with like a jab. And when he did that, he kind of took a step back, and it's almost like he turned real quick to look at his leg as though he stepped wrong or he tweaked something, and then it didn't seem to be like an issue beyond that. But
he stepped on his foot. He stepped on Ford's foot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And actually, that was borderline a knockdown to me, because I felt like the step on the foot wasn't the trip. It obviously got his attention. I would have to slow play it to show, do all that. But to me, he took a clear left hook and got driven into the ropes. The ropes keep him up.
Yeah.
They didn't want Ford to win this fight. Look, you guys, he's down by 3 in round 12. What the fuck are you guys watching? I did not have this young man down by 3. Granted, I didn't know he was an Eddie Hearn fighter. I didn't know that either until after. I watched hella DAZN fights. I don't know where Ford got lost in my memory, but I didn't know the young man coming in. But Eddie Hearn's his promoter. He's fought on DAZN, and you could tell ESPN don't want him to win. Bradley starts giving him respect at the end of the fight, but that's a whole Obatech promotion going. Dude, they have him up by 3. They don't count knockdowns. Then in the 12th round, it looked like he went down again. The ropes hold him up again. Ref's like, no. That time, Timothy Bradley's like, wait a minute. How's that not a knockdown? Then the kid finally gets the knockout. Still might not win the fight if the bell rings. It's like, are you kidding me right now? That would have been a big-time robbery. If, in my opinion, I had Ford up 8-4. At the end of this fight and whatever the 12th round is. But he's up going into the 12th round. So I just give it to him. But he's up 7-4 at that moment. Yeah, 7-4. I have Ford up going into the 12th round. Like, he's not, in my opinion, he wasn't. To say that they had the other guy up by 3 is like, what? To me, I was just kind of blown away until I heard he's Eddie Hearn, and that's Top Rank, and you're fighting on ESPN. And I was like, those are the extra ESPN points.
Yeah. Yeah. They had on the undercard was this dude Lopez, his nickname is Venado, was fighting this Japanese dude, right, Abe. And early before the fight actually happened, like a day before, during or the Thursday, then they had a press conference. They had asked Lopez, because he was the co-main event, also featherweight, about this fight, and he was like, oh yeah, there's a pretty good chance I win and Odebek wins, and so that looked like that's what the direction Top Rank was going. They were going to have a unification fight between these two, and then the fucking monkey wrench is that Ford throws in there, basically the spoiler, really, because that seems as though that's the direction that Top Rank was going. But hey, I mean, did you watch the co-main event as well? You managed to catch that as well?
Yes, I did. That's the fight really got turned off when the eye injury happens.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The guy's on life support after his eye closes up.
Yeah, which happened early on. It was like I think the
Yes.
second round when they started closing.
So and I wasn't that impressed with Lopez's approach. He's a very sloppy
He's
fighter.
very sloppy. He leans in, and here's the thing: he's a champ, so he's got the belt, right? And
I know.
he's got pop, right? So that's significant. I think he beat Josh Warrington, if I'm not mistaken, right offhand. That's sort of significant. He finished him as well. On top of that,
even though Eddie Hearn has a terrible, or the UK has a terrible record against Mexican fighters,
and he's one of the dudes who went over there overseas and took the strap off of them. So he's got something, but the fact that he lunges in so much and he leans forward with his chin and he telegraphs his punches so much, it's like, it's sloppy as fuck. I root for him. Obviously, he's a Mexican dude, so I'm just like, yeah, let's do it because he's from Mexicali, which is like towards the border. So we're always rooting for him, but we're like, put the damn hands up, shit, like stop fucking around like that. So if down the line we have Lopez and Ford, I think Ford takes it, dude.
And it looked like Ford technically should, and that's what happens to these fighters that are wild. Once they move into the next class, the elites, they expose all of that shit, right? The jabbing's better, the accuracy's better, so you can't always just have your hands down. That's not always going to work, right? These guys are peppering you now. Ford showed he can counter, he can engage, he can back up. The kid had the whole package last night. He really did. For that being his coming out party, that's a great start to his documentary or whatever of his life. You know what I mean? He comes in against a guy who's 12-0-11. He's not the main event. The other dude is. He's the underdog. What was he? They had him at plus 370, almost 4-1 underdog.
Jeez,
you know, when I seen his power, he only has 7 knockouts and 14 wins, so he's 50% on his showcase talent. I always think of the first 15 fights of a prospect's career. Those are always built up opponents, right? Those are guys that your team is trying to match you up with to give you the best results. If you cannot get a good knockout percentage against the guys that they are matching you up to knock out, your power is not that great. Going into the next class, it is what it is.
But don't normally, like, the latter half, like, let's just say, for example, using your example of 15 fights, generally speaking, the first few guys will say 6 or 7, they'll give you guys that you can knock out. But don't they often after that usually give you guys that will give you rounds? Like that, the guy is like, all right, you're not always going to win by KO, so let's put you in with guys who can take a punch to give you rounds, and then that kind of balances out.
The guys in the next class usually wipe them out, though. There's nothing they can do. They're just better. And you'll see, he had 19 consecutive knockouts. He had 12 consecutive knockouts. He's never been to the 4th round or the 5th round, right? Because these guys, they can't last. His timing's better. His speed is faster. His power is greater. Like, there's nothing they can do. They're elite. So that's what I'm saying. When you only have 50% knockout, it's like, man, when you get into that next level, your power usually comes down. It never started. It was when he, started fighting all the good guys when he started knocking everyone out. It's usually not the case, So with that being said, last night, his power does show up in his first big fight. So that's good. Right now in his title record, he's 100% knockout ratio, right?
Yeah.
His punches look good. They were crisp, man. That guy was walking into uppercuts, and I love that his trainer was giving him such good advice. He was motivating him and giving him tips on how to win the fight at the same time in 1 minute and not overwhelming the young man. I thought it was working. It just seemed like it was working, and Timothy Bradley does mention it later on the fight, but he was doing it the whole night. The trainer just was saying the right things, it seemed like, to the kid, to Ford, and Ford responded. Look, I have him losing. I have him losing 3-1 going into round 5. Me and Junior are going for Ford. Junior's scoring the fight. I have him losing the fight 3-1, man. It's not looking good going into round 5. Look, Obatek is a very big featherweight. tall dude. The guy looked like a 140-pounder. He looks like a junior welterweight, man. He doesn't look like a featherweight. So I knew the kid's power, Ford's power is not good. You kind of see Obatek is countering his offense early. First 3 rounds, he's coming right over the top with counters and cracking them. He wobbles them in like the 3rd round. So it doesn't look good. But I believe when Ford realized Obatek's power and his punching output is not the same moving him backwards than it is allowing him to come forward, that's when he starts walking him down. Just he relies on defense. And dude, you guys, if you guys break down the film, there's 7 punch combos being missed in this fight by this young man. The defense is off the charts. Like, he's in the pocket either picking them off or dodging them, and this dude's throwing heat. It's only round 4 or 5. You know, he's throwing, but he's got a 99 or 94. I don't know what the fuck. He's got one fight that went the distance, bro. Whatever that percentage is, you guys do the math. That's what it is, Miguel. So he's really high, right?
Yeah.
Fucking, he's missing. Not only is he missing, but now Ford's countering in the inside. He's getting those body shots and those hooks in, right? So now he's ripping them.
Now he's making a pay for missing.
So now he pays him for missing. Now Obatek takes a step back, but he's taking a step back awkward. He's always off. He's off balance when he moves. He's off balance when he throws his final punch. He always overcommits. He's always falling over. So you take a half step back and you counter him every time. So he's getting stung on that one, and he's getting stung when he moves back. His punches are weaker because his feet are together or he's squared up. He doesn't have the right angle on his punch. He's getting stung on these shots. So while they were trading, it's one guy's technique that is better, that is getting him the better angles and the more power shots, cleaner punches inside the fight. I don't know how they were scoring 3 rounds over for Obatek. I never seen it. His defense, his offense, and now the young man was walking him down. You told me that dude was the power puncher, yet from round 5 to like round 9, it was Ford walking Obatek down.
Yeah.
It's a thing of fucking beauty. It's a thing of beauty. He switches up his style. He brings it. So then in I think it's round 9 or 10, is his last hurrah for Obatek. He comes out and he's doing his whole European, I'm just going to throw my flurries at you. The kid weathers all the flurries, goes back to just picking them apart, right? Miss, bam. Miss, bam. Oh, you're going to walk back, jab, jab, bam. Because he can't punch going backwards. So now he's hitting them when then in the 12th round, his feet fucked him up again. So now he gets hurt. And because he can't walk right in the ring when you're normal, you definitely aren't got your balance when you're already off balance. So now he's just drunk, falling all over the fucking ring. The kid's just bouncing towards him like, here I come to knock you out. Here, dude's staring at the fucking the crowd by the time he's done falling over his own feet.
Yeah.
So Obatek really needs to work on the first thing in boxing, and that's moving around the ring. Stop with the combinations and start working more on that. Ford, he's in a hot division, man. Some great names he was naming. You know, Navarrete's, he said, was in that division.
I think Navarrete's a little bit heavier now. Like, because when he fought Valdez, he was at 130. So, I mean, he's within the...
He's moving up. No. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. The young man kept saying after the fight, this was his last fight. He goes, I can't make this weight. I struggled to make weight for this fight. I'm going to go to 130 for the next one. He did say that in an interview after the fight. So that's why I'm saying he named Navarrete. He named all the guys at 130, bro. And there were some decent names. I was thinking Gervanta was there, but Gervanta's 135, right? Because everyone else is going to 140. All right, so it is the Navarrete weight class, which that's just an awesome fight. Like he gets there. He's only 24 some years old. He's only going to get bigger himself. There was a great win last night. The guy's 12-0-11 on fighting on ESPN. Now you move into a Navarrete. Look, Top Rank has not stolen. I don't want to say that word, but they co-promoted Cambosos, right?
Yeah.
When he was signed with Eddie Hearn, and Bob Arum was like, "Hey, why don't you come work with us now?" So maybe they do the same thing with Ford. You know, coming. Oh, they talked about Foster.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Yeah,
there you go.
I was trying to remember if he was the 126, 130, and I was going to pull him up right now. But Oshaki, yeah,
yes,
a good defense of his WBC title last week or a couple of weekends ago against Nova. Yeah, there's another one. I mean, but shit, and you know what? Nova's a good fighter, but like, dude, he was tagging Oshaki. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're like that's what makes these fights so intriguing. That there's a little level of vulnerability in each one of them. So it's like, damn, that's gonna make the fight even more interesting. And you know, Oshaki got tagged. He got tagged hella times, and it's like, all right, he could take a punch, right? How he's gonna react with getting tagged against somebody like Ford. You know, who knows at 130, but we still have Valdez out there. We have Navarrete out there, right? So those are some big names. If he can move up and like, you know, he's a title holder now, but he's gonna obviously drop it because he's gonna move up to 130. But that gives him a little bit more leverage. He can go up to that weight class and be like, all right, I'm the champ here. Maybe fight the WBA champ of whatever, you know, who's ever the champion there at 130. So yeah, he's got himself.
Gives them more leverage, and it puts ESPN in a real good spot because none of those guys are pay-per-view fights, right? Those are all going to be fucking ESPN Plus or ESPN cards, and those are good ratings for us because I won't miss that again. I was very upset that I didn't pump Ford's fight a lot more last night. I'm glad some of my family, especially my sister, she did get back to me and told me she did watch it. So that was awesome. And because these are the kind of fighters that bring fans back to the sport. Mm-hmm. He was in the pocket. He's making you miss. He's landing shots. He gets the knockout at the end. Like, just everything worked for him last night. He got the 2 cuts. He's fighting through that shit. Right?
And that one was a headbutt. The one underneath the left eye was a nasty headbutt. So that shit.
Bro, I think one was a headbutt, and I watched the fight over, but I didn't look for. I thought the first cut might have been when they got together. The guy raised his arm up to hit him in the eye to get the bottom one. I thought that's how the bottom one happened. And then, is it the bottom one that's the headbutt or the top one?
I want to say the bottom one is the headbutt. The top
all right, then the other cut, whatever cut is the other one from the headbutt. Sure. So I don't think it was ever a punch. Even though it was a bad look, I was like, damn, the kid's face got torn up. It was like round 11.
The thing is, if it's a headbutt and for whatever reason the referee doesn't see it and he calls it a punch, then it's a punch. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Depending on what state you're in, it might be, you know, it's the replay. Maybe there isn't. But to the point where, like, the referee better get it right because it was. And they showed the replay. I mean, we get to see it, but I don't know if the judges get to see it, right? The replay in between the rounds. But you can tell, yeah, it was a pretty nasty headbutt. I mean, as a matter of fact, on the subject of fucking of eyes, that I was remembering the fight, the co-main event with Lopez and Abe, when the doctor came to like ask, you know, like they did the cover the eye kind of thing with the flashlight, like how many, but the doctor, I don't know, you know, where he's from, but the dude is Japanese, right? So it's like, and then, so they have to have an interpreter come in and interpret what the fighter's saying, right? So the interpreter can clearly see the numbers, you know, so he's like, 2, he says you're holding up 2 numbers, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, what the fuck would they throw in it? Like, they have to, because obviously they need an interpreter, in other words.
Hey, the interpreter has money on him. He's all just answering the shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the guy's like, all 4. He's all, not 2. Yeah. He said 2.
Like, how the fuck is the doctor going to know? You know what I'm saying? So, and I saw that, and I was like, because, you know, he was holding up 2 numbers. I was like, hold up.
He clearly told me he's okay. Yeah. He's perfectly fine. At least go 2 more rounds.
He's like, he wants me to tell you not to come back into the fight at all. He wants to stay down there. You know, like he can handle the rest of the fight. Okay, yeah. You know, and I saw that, I was like, I don't know.
That's a good comedy skit, bro. That's a good one. An interpreter to talk to the doctor is not a good sign. You gotta get a doctor. You're totally, Miguel. You're so right on that. You must get a doctor that knows the language, bro, because you cannot totally trust that you're getting the true answer without knowing the language. You're absolutely right.
That eye was swelling. You could tell the corner were trying to like smear it off to the side. They were putting that N-Swell on there. But when the doctor came up, I was like, hold a second. Wait, this is like, there shouldn't be 3 people in this conversation. What the fuck?
So they put $100,000 that he goes to round 8, bro. You cannot stop this fight.
It's like we got the over 8.5 rounds. Let's make sure you get to that point, please, sir. But that shit had me rolling when I was watching that. I was like, wait a second, something isn't right on this fucking thing. But
sometimes boxing looks so secondhand, right? Yeah. It's like that would never be in any other sport. You wouldn't see in soccer, international soccer, the World Cup. You wouldn't see in the Super Bowl, the world. You know what I mean? Like interpreters for the doctors. No, you're gonna get people that know the language. So
for every fight fan or for every person that I talk to that isn't a fight fan, I tell them like boxing is the Wild West, yo. It's just so open. People can. It leaves so many fucking windows open for shit to happen and stuff like that. Exactly. So when I saw that, I was like, wait a second. Let me bring it up to fucking Andrew. But nonetheless, it was an entertaining main event and co-main event. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how far or where Ford goes next. Tough loss for Odebek, but I mean, he's a strong dude. Maybe we can have a rematch at 130 if he decides to move up, because he's a big motherfucking featherweight too.
And it was very smart of Ford to bring up Foster and Navarrete's names. Like, he totally kills the Lopez fight, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, Lopez fought on the undercard. He's ESPN. How do you want to fight him? Nah, I'm not coming back to this weight division. I was like, oh, shit. Like, because Eddie Hearn's standing right behind him. So there, he's going back to the zone. That's what I thought he was going to say. But then he's like, no, there's Navarrete, there's Foster, and so at least he threw Bob Arum that bone. You know what I mean? Go work on those fights, but I'm not fighting this. And to be honest with you, Lopez didn't impress me enough to get. I would watch it, but it's not like a Navarrete or a Oshaki Foster. Oshaki Foster fight. Those matchups, we're planning the day around that fight. The other one, if I'm home, I'll be watching it.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, that was a nice little wrap up of this weekend's fights. That was fun. Good fights nonetheless. Let me let everybody know if you guys feel like watching an excellent fight. Sometimes, the sleepers, it's not a main card or anything like that, and those are the ones that surprise you the most and have the most entertaining action. So I definitely, if you guys have ESPN Plus, by all means check out last night's action, the main event in particular. That was definitely main event worthy. All right, so one of the other topics we wanted to talk about, going back to the tabloid section of this, we wanted to touch on briefly, or however long it can last, these sparring videos that Floyd Mayweather decided to release out of nowhere for whatever the fuck reason of Devin Haney and Gervanta Davis. Ryan Garcia mentioned it in the press conference as well, as drunk and as high as he fucking is, or claims he wasn't, talking about how Devin was getting his ass handed to him in those sparring sessions. And I don't know besides the obvious clout, what benefit really was going to come of it for Gervonta or Tank, other than just to make Devin look bad. Keep in mind that this was several years ago, so it's not like we're talking about, for all we know, these guys are completely different fighters. Well, Tank kind of sort of look the same, but Devin a completely different fighter, and now in the heavier weight class, although we know Gervonta can make 140 no problem. What do you make of this, Andrew? What, besides, like you mentioned earlier, clout, like what do you think the whole point of releasing these old sparring sessions is by Floyd?
It was interesting until the rumor is he's only 16 in the sparring match. He's only 16. Well, he's 25 today. This wasn't yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, it turns into being it turns into being like, Floyd, you're actually walking around with this on your phone. I hope it's like on Facebook, like some memory, like here, you go to your Facebook page, you go to your photo, your albums, and then you show someone. I got a bunch of those.
Yeah.
But I don't have something from 10 years ago just downloaded on my new phone, Miguel.
Or like saving it on the micro SD card, like, oh, this is gonna
putting it in. Yeah. No, so that's when it gets kind of weird. Like, why are you holding on to a sparring match of a 16-year-old? Are you fucking kidding me? One, respect to the Haneys, because that's how good Floyd thought your son was. He held on to that tape for 10 plus years and is still showing people like it gives his fighter some fucking clout. It doesn't. One thing I think we lost in our lives, we didn't talk enough to our grandparents. A lot of kids I see today don't know their grandparents or didn't talk to them enough, and we don't get those old stories. Before Ray Leonard and Chavez and all the old guys, Hopkins and our old generations leave us, maybe we should ask them how important sparring is on some days. Not saying sparring throughout training camp, but I'm saying sparring throughout your life, right?
Yeah, because that wasn't specifically sparring. Like,
yeah, we don't know when they.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were preparing, because obviously they were young cats at the time. So when
he's in his 20s, they said, bro, it's
Gervanta?
Look up how old Gervanta Davis is today.
I think he's 29. I think. I don't know. Let me double check. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, continue, please.
Because that makes him 5 years older than.
Sure. Oh, he's 29. Okay. Oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, their birthdays are the same month.
So he's November. 4 years.
So he's So he just turned 4 years. Go ahead. Yeah.
So if he's 16, Gervanta's 20 years old in that tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 20-year-old. Yeah, exactly. That's you start to develop that man strength.
Yes.
That's when it starts. Yeah, and this fucker's still barely 16. You know what I'm saying? At the very beginning of that stage. So
hey Miguel, when you were 20, were you that scared of any 16-year-old walking around?
No, hell
right?
No.
That doesn't change in the boxing level, right?
Yeah.
In the boxing, when you're 20 and you're a fighter and you got a 16-year-old walking the gym, you ain't fearing that kid either. It's the same shit. So that makes it kind of sad.
But it's something like you mentioned clout, but it's like I don't get what other than like the stupid immature, like, haha, look at what you had your ass beat back when you were whenever the fuck, as if that's significant 10 years later somehow. Like, what? I don't, because
this is.
Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, sometimes, like, I remember seeing this regularly, the Chavez and De La Hoya sparring session, right? I remember seeing that all the fucking time, and I'm like, okay, but clearly that didn't fucking happen when De La Hoya fought, Chavez twice, handed his ass to him at that point. Obviously, the age was a difference there, but it's like, I don't get what the point of those things are, like, as if they're the same fighters now. I mean, again, Chavez was probably already, because that dude was already the man at that time. But with Gervonta and Devin, it's like they were barely at the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm trying to remember when the hell Gervonta became a pro.
Miguel, first off, sparring is not a fight.
Right.
These guys are coming into sparring from going out the night before. They're coming into sparring from eating breakfast, right? Having full stomachs and barely. It's not a real fight. So, Gervanta Davis' skills looked great, and he was getting the upper hand in some of the exchanges. Does not tell you what would happen if both of them trained for 6 fucking weeks, got in the prime health of their careers, and then went into the rings and made their skills show up.
Yeah.
That's not the same atmosphere that we're talking. So fuck your sparring tape. And that's why you need to talk to the old guys. So the Roberto Durans and the Leonards can go, yeah, dude, I don't know when that sparring happened, but I can tell you I wasn't up for all my sparring matches. Sometimes Joe Blow, the plumber, that puts in the fucking heavy work on the heavy bag all day. He handed it to my ass one day because I came in from taking out my wife the night before and just wanted to get some work. This guy thinks he's in the fucking championship of his life. About to go back and tell all of his plumber buddies how he handled the fucking champ.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming. Yeah, there's footage of him hitting me once or twice. You get what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
Like, it's sparring.
And it's like, it's not just the fact that it's sparring, but it's not sparring for a training camp. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, oftentimes those are never fucking released. But still, it's like the fact that these guys were just happened to be. Because, I mean, I hear in Vegas, and I assume the culture is the same everywhere else. There's certain gyms you go on Friday nights, and kids from different gyms show up and they fucking spar one another. That's just what it is. It's basically that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like you're training for a fight coming up and you have one of your sparring partners and one of your sparring partners whoops your ass or something like that. Like, that's not that.
And how about this one, Miguel?
Yeah.
Let's turn this on Floyd and Gervonta. All right, your boy is badass. So what's the hurry on the sign up for Devin Haney? You beat your weak ass Frank Warren or whoever the fuck it is you're fighting.
Martin.
Frank Martin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it one day. I'll get it one. Frank Martin. Hopefully that's the last time.
It's two first names that can't be different.
Frank and Martin.
There you go.
And he'll fight Ryan, and then you guys can fight next. Now there should be no problems. Look at how fast Devin signed to fight Ryan. He's not a punk. Don't be a fucking punk. When you two free up after your next two fights, go show us how you handled him in sparring. This is easy. Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn and Top Rank. They're the ones that control Devin, correct? They got counter relationship.
Yes. I think Top Rank was first, but then Matchroom second.
So they should be all over Gervanta's shit right now. Bill Haney should already be on it. So we got no problem you signing to fight Devin next. Watch how fast they run back into their hole.
Oh, they will. I mean, it's like even going to the stupid, what was it, the response that Gervonta had to that excellency. You know, it's like, dude, do you not want to fight? Is that what the fuck is going on? Like, do you not want to fight any of the top fucking dudes? And it pisses me off, but it's like I'm trying to not let it get to me. But the fact that these PBC dudes talk so much crap and then never fucking sign the dotted line. You know, they never fucking sign. It's like, stop. What's the point of you talking so much shit?
Unfortunately, the money's ran out for that type of ego over there. There's some veterans over there that are still holding that type of character because that's what they're used to. That's what their career has basically been. Hide behind Al Heyman, Hide behind Al Heyman. Hide behind you're on the wrong side of the street. Make millions of dollars in fixed fights. And when I say fixed fights, meaning you're fighting opponents that you're supposed to beat. These are not the best in your division. The PBC guys were notorious for not fighting the guys that people wanted to see them up against. So fixed fights. You're up. You got the favor in your hand in this whole matchup. They're notorious for that. But that's all gone now. It is all gone. Look, and we'll get into the Canelo situation with Benavidez. But that platform that they have does not allow them to talk this way anymore because now they have to generate money to get paid. There is no investor. Al Heyman's just got a fucking black book or a blank checkbook over there writing out checks. That's $750 million, you guys. $750 million. Don't even mark my words. Google this shit. Google what the fuck PBC, what Al Heyman struck a deal on. That was all his money that he got to put into his own company. As the manager, the promoter, he was everything.
Yeah.
So that shit is gone. Amazon did not give him any of that. So David, all these guys, they have to change their tune now. Gervanta Davis, unfortunately, he's made good money, but he's very young. He's gonna have to make a lot more because he spends as fast as Floyd does, and he don't have Floyd's money. You understand? Yeah. So he's gonna have to make more, and he don't have that umbrella anymore. That 750 is gone. Yeah. Now it's about, and he's good. We've seen his pay-per-views done good. We're gonna see better when he fights Frank Warren.
Martin.
Fuck. I hate you.
I like the confidence in your face, though. You're like, Frank, bam, Warren. No, that's a promoter.
That's their fault. That's their fault. Frank Martin. Like Martin Lawrence. I'm going to call him Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, there you go. Just think of Frank and then think of Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. All right. Frank Martin.
In fact, we can call him Martin Lawrence. People on his show for the next episode like, what the fuck? Martin Lawrence is gonna be stepping in the ring with this shit? Like no. You gotta watch a few episodes ago.
We'll see what Tank does on his next pay-per-view, how much of the face he is of the PBC. Because that's a great opponent to say, hey, those are all his numbers. He pushed 700,000, 800,000. He's the man, right? So that's all he has going for him. But yeah, I'm not impressed with the sparring. I wasn't impressed before I found out that Devin might only be 16 in this footage. That makes it a fucking joke. It makes Floyd kind of sad for still having this footage of it's not even you. You're carrying around Gervanta Davis and Devin Haney's footage, you know, and you're, you know, showing people, oh, look at what it's just weird. It's weird, and it never meant anything. I'm dead serious when I tell you those stories about fighters getting took by sometimes just guys in the gym that were training there, because it's fucking sparring, man. It's real life shit. The guy might have had an argument with his wife an hour before fucking coming to the gym. Now he gets hit 3 times because he's thinking about the fuck she's doing at home, and it's not a real fight.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Floyd is doing this thing like he's bringing out his wallet and like showing his kids like, oh look at it, these are my kids' pictures, you know, like some of these fucking videos.
Yes.
And you know, and I heard somebody convinced Floyd to do it or something like that. Like what is that gonna do? Like, how is that helping Ryan at all or anything during this fight? Like, just so it'll give him a little bit more ammo to throw in their direction during the press conferences or the face-offs or interviews or whatever the hell. Like, it's so insignificant that the fact that it is making the rounds so much, because, you know, like, we're not really media people. We kind of are. Like, when you go through your Instagram feed, I'm gonna see other media outlets, boxing media outlets, that have that same video. It's like, all right, I've seen it hella fucking times already. Like, we're all gonna report the same shit. So that's why I'm like, it's so insignificant. Of course, we're gonna talk about it because it's news regardless. But to the point where it's making the rounds so much, and I'm like, God, it's not that big a deal, yo. Like, I think everyone's making it a bigger deal than it really is because of how heavy it is in rotation with all these media outlets. But it's going to be a different story when they fight, you know, if they fight, I guess. I mean, hopefully when they fight, it really is an if, yeah. But, you know, should they fight, if it happens, we can pretty much be, you know, guaranteed that we're not going to see the same shit that we saw in the sparring session.
No.
Yeah, and then of course the reasoning behind it, I don't know why Floyd, besides like you said, clout, was in any way, shape, or form how it was going to help anybody, Tank or Ryan for that matter, and why the hell you hang on to these videos for this long?
The kid,
Jesus Christ,
and until he gets his card pulled, like someone going, "Hey Floyd, why are you showing this video?" Right? It worked because the new generation media ran with it. I'm watching videos. I'm seeing the chat rooms. Oh, he handled them. You got Shakur Stevenson tweeting out, don't know why, but he's tweeting out, I've never been handled like this. Please.
Yeah.
Please, Shakur. Yeah, in your whole life, never once in a sparring match do they have 30 seconds of you maybe getting handled, maybe getting a few punches land. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm supposed to believe that shit? Listen, to all my young men and girls, or what is it, boys and girls out there, believe half of what you see and nothing you hear. Shakur Stevenson telling you that he's never been handled in a sparring match is bullshit. That's at some point Shakur himself was learning how to fight. He didn't just come out of his mother's womb knowing defense.
Yeah.
Fucking
he didn't come out with his fucking braids ready to go. Like, no, no.
Sorry.
He had to have got his tagged a few times. He had to have had his bell rang a few times. He had to have had bloody noses at some point. That's
right. That's right. So yeah, so it's working on that sense for Floyd. You know, Gervanta Davis got it's us that is supposed to straighten this shit out, right? Yeah. We're supposed to attach to that video. This is sparring. Hopefully this means Gervanta is not going to have a problem fighting Davis, Haney in a few fucking months. Let's turn this viral video into that, media, right? Go put the flame to fucking Davis's feet now. So Davis, your next fight is Devin Haney, right?
Right, because you can handle him, right?
Easy work.
Yeah, easy payday, nice big payday, pay-per-view. Let's do it. Come on, sign the line, sign the fucking contract. You know, that's a hope, at least, that you know, that we can try to kind of turn it around on them in that sense, like you said, so we can kind of, you know, call them out, you know, call their punk card out. You know, like, all right, well then do it, go ahead. Yep. It's an easy payday, handle it. But yeah, that's going to be one thing that don't have the answers to yet. At least, hopefully, I run into Leonard Ellerby one day at the fucking sports book and ask him like, dude, why did Floyd do that shit, man? Come on, see if I can catch that motherfucker. But a topic I wanted to segue on that you kind of briefly touched on is this whole he said she said with Canelo and Benavidez and Munguia Berlanga and where he's going to be, where he lands. The last I read, and this is the last thing I read, and things probably changed since then, is that Canelo couldn't actually make a deal, couldn't come to an agreement with Matchroom, and went back to PBC. That's the last I read. Right. Now, has there been anything else since then? Probably, fuck well, I know. But at this point, we've been flip-flopping so much that I don't know what to believe. Like you said earlier, you believe half of what you see and nothing of what you fucking hear. Half of what I'm seeing is what I'm reading online. What exactly is accurate? I don't know, because everybody's gonna have a different. Not everyone's gonna have the full picture, and therefore they're gonna give their opinion of what they think it is. I've seen videos of Benavidez talking about how much money they offered Canelo. I don't know what legitimately is going on, and frankly, no one really does. Well, maybe some people in the inside know what's going on, but that hasn't leaked out yet. Considering what we've heard so far, Andrew, where do you think we are at with this? Like, I've heard Munguia. I know it's not going to be anybody else other than Munguia and, well, at least we understand, Munguia or Berlanga. But where do you think we stand with this?
I believe Canelo might be getting humbled right now as he's searching for a platform to showcase not only his talent, but to pay him. If it is true that he is going back to the PBC, that's terrible for Saul Alvarez, because that means your guaranteed market is dried up. There's nobody in America that wants to invest in you anymore. Not ESPN, not whoever the DAZN North American CEO is who's controlling this side, right? I'm sure they have different divisions. Eddie Hearn obviously couldn't convince. Is it DAZN or DAZN? I'm tired of fucking going back and forth.
I call it DAZN.
DAZN. I hate that fucking stupid name. DAZN.
We can deliberately call it DAZN for just to fucking turn the knife on.
But if they turned him away, bro, it's because of that guaranteed money that he wants. That $35 million, which I think's a lot, because his pay-per-views, it's not talking shit. You can literally Google Canelo Alvarez's pay-per-view buys, and they're terrible. 500,000, 400, 600. I think it's one of his highest recently has been in the sixes. The Golovkin 3. Everything else, dude, it's low. And for him being supposed to be Floyd Mayweather, no. Floyd never at least they lied to us. They lied very good, but Floyd never showed us these type of numbers. The guy went out of boxing at a fucking 1 point something buy rate. You know what I mean? So his market's dried up. It's not a good look if he's going back to the PBC. It's not. And whatever PBC fans think that's a win for you guys, it's not. It's showing that boxing's in a worse place than we thought. They don't even have money for the guy that's supposed to be the fucking face. Has anyone realized Terrence Crawford still doesn't have a fight?
Yeah, right. We're rapidly approaching a full year from last July when he faced Spence. We're already in early March. A few months away from July. It's a full year.
There is a reset button that is going on in the sport right now. They are going to. The word isn't dry, but they're going to make us starve. The fighters, they're going to make them starve for a little bit.
Yeah, so they're going to deprive us of it.
Yeah. So then when they do come back, they can go, okay, are you ready to talk business now and not your fucking fantasy? I got to have a chain that's worth $1 million on my neck and a fucking stupid Gucci bag that's worth $300K. Why does a fighter need a bag that's worth $300,000? You're a fucking prize fighter. You punch men in the face, yet you need a purse? We got to get out of this.
Yeah.
These guys used to fight for a living, not a purse.
Right.
So they're going to starve them a little. Get them out of that fucking, go do another sport. Hey, football's beggar. You got to be 6'1" to get in that on the fucking roster. I'm telling you that right now, but go try that shit out. Basketball, you got to be over 6 feet. Go try that out. I'm dead
Yeah.
serious.
No, yeah, and I agree because I try to pose this question to fight fans, like, what would be the lesser of two evil? I always ask these people that, like, fighters getting paid bank, but we get shitty fights, or
And
fighters getting paid substantially less and we get the fights that we want. Like, granted, we don't. De La Hoya is not going to come and put a sandwich on my fucking table with however much money, or Canelo or anybody else, Crawford. So good for him if he makes fucking 45 million in a fucking fight. But what good does that do me if fucking he fights Amir Khan? It's like, I don't give a fuck if I fight Amir Khan. Like, I don't give a shit. I want to see him fight the best. That's when the big payday is, and that's what I'm willing to pay. But that's the lesser of two evils. Fighters getting paid bank and you get a shitty fight as a fight fan, or fighters getting paid substantially less. Like you said, the reset, starve them a little, and then we get the fight. Then we really get the fights that we really want to see. I'm not saying pay them UFC pennies. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, like, let's reset it.
no, they're walking away. They ain't even getting paid pennies, Miguel. Hello? HBO, Showtime walked away. Amazon said, hey, we'll let you guys use our airwaves, but we ain't paying you shit. That's not a good deal. I'm hearing ESPN is about to do a switch, right? I don't know if boxing.
The merger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if boxing's staying on their platform once it's gone. When you look at boxing's ratings, they're not great. They do better than a lot of the shows on ESPN because they need a lot of content. So hopefully that will keep us on. But what if they say, your ratings just aren't worth the 10 million that we give you a year? We're going to give you only 7 million now. Well, everyone's pay just got decreased, right? So it's still not a good thing. Just because we're on the network doesn't mean it's a great thing. We need to still make these fighters money.
Yeah, we need to get people to watch
so they make bigger money.
Right.
So Canelo, Terrence don't have fights. They don't have platforms. They've left the sport. The investors aren't even here right now. People need to wake up. So when this happens, a fighter will say, shit, man, I remember they only wanted to give me 200 grand MMA. 300 grand, man, that was some bullshit. I had to take a fight for that. But then the investor could go, okay, you guys are ready? Well, how's 2 million sound to you, kid? Oh yeah, where do I sign? 2 million? Fucking now they got their reset in.
Now you appreciate those fucking $1-2 million. Yeah. That's.
Do you want 8 million? That's slave wage. Remember slave wage? $8 million, Miguel. How dare he even? You can't talk like that.
Oh, yeah. That's some bullshit. No, there's a real possibility, a real danger of of them not sticking around Top Rank on ESPN. And for those older guys like myself, at least, that watched wrestling when we were younger, Ted Turner, who was like the owner of several fucking things, a media conglomerate, basically. He fucking mogul. I meant to say like a mogul. Owned the Atlanta Braves, and Turner Field was named after him. TBS, TNT, CNN. He owned for a time being, from like 1988 to like 2001, the rival of WWF called WCW. In the 90s, they merged with AOL Time Warner, and those AOL Time Warner guys didn't like pro wrestling, dude. They thought that shit was way below them, even though pro wrestling was getting hella fucking ratings. But sure enough, started kicking some people out. Ted Turner himself didn't even show up to the office anymore. And as soon as they had a chance, they pulled the plug on professional wrestling. When they don't want you on their fucking platform, they don't fucking want you. You know what I'm saying? So who knows to what extent this merger with ESPN and a few other ones, I forgot what it was, Fox, or I don't know what the hell it was. But if they don't like, boxing, and they see the abysmal ratings, bro, they're going to start slowly pushing them out the fucking way until the very end. And then they pull the plug, and they pulled out just like HBO and Showtime did.
Or the contract isn't as big. Bob will sign. Bob will sign because it'll be money for him. Sure. But now you need to go out and try to convince your fighters to take all smaller paychecks. So listen, but it had to be done, you guys. And I'm not against Floyd making 25, 100 million, whatever he made at his peak day, whatever, all of them making their peak. But you got to earn it. You can't just say, oh, I'm undefeated and I've been a champion, so you owe me 15 million or I'm not signing. That's crazy talk.
That's an entitlement.
Yes. This isn't the union. You don't become a journeyman and all of a sudden you're supposed to make fucking 20 million a fight. It doesn't work that way. You got to make the man who invested the millions into you millions for you to make millions. That's you're kind of working on commission in a way. I know it's guaranteed, but to the investor, right? To them, they're still making a profit, so you're kind of you're working for your commission. Yeah, we'll cut you a check. It's a bigger check, but the guy in the lead is still making the bigger money, right?
Sure.
It's the Chris Rock. I don't want Shaq's money. I want the owner's money, right? He's like, get some Rams.
Yeah. They put spinners on everything. Yeah,
that was a class. So that's how the fighter should be paid, right? At that moment, the promoter, the network, whoever's talking about what they're going to make, if you make 20 million, it's because you're worth 20 million or you're worth 40 million and they got to get paid too. Sorry, that's how this whole fucking ball rolls. We need millionaires to make millions, bro. We're finding out really fast. Saul Alvarez and Terrence Crawford might not be able to do it just on their own skills. Might need a few people behind you with some few dollars to make a few dollars.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. We kind of don't know where they stand, or specifically, I guess Canelo. Well, I mean, that's Floyd. I mean, I'm sorry, Crawford for that matter. But we anticipate that within the next whenever the fuck couple of weeks, because again, May 4th is rapidly approaching, so we're already in early March. So basically, a couple of months from tomorrow, we're gonna have ourselves, a Canelo fight, and they're gonna need some time for their training camp, so they're gonna have to make a decision pretty quick, unless they kind of already know and they haven't really said anything yet, so they're already like, hey, Berlanga, start training because May 4th or whatever the fuck, right? Then maybe they already know ahead of time before we do, before it gets actually released. But they need to make a decision pretty damn quick. We need to find out who the hell's going to be that opponent. It's going to be pretty fast.
I wouldn't believe Oscar and Bernard would even go with this prime deal. No, so you're going to take everything Munguia worked for, put him in the prime position. He was about to get guaranteed money by DAZN, millions. Nah, we're going to go and risk it all on a percentage from Amazon, from a guy who's talked bad about us. They try to steal his fucking company. Now Oscar is the worst negotiator. I got to say, Bernard, you're guilty by association at this point too, because Golden Boy has been worked in the negotiation table before. I can't say I'd be fucking surprised if they sent Munguia to Amazon on a percentage only deal. I can't say I would be totally surprised, because Oscar, that's not his strong point. He loves getting his guys there, but then once he's in the big game and it's time to set the rules, that's not his cup of tea. It's just not. He seems like he's always losing pounds on the scale. He's losing, you know what I mean? He's always got a disadvantage somehow for his fighter. It's like, oh, Oscar, how'd you guys sign up for this? You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, but I got it. It's like, no,
but is it a disadvantage or a compromise? Because they have to compromise to some degree, right? That's the point of reaching across the street or whatever the fuck and making the fight happen. But it's like, is it too much?
Sometimes it's too much. Making Canelo, putting a weight strain on Canelo when he was already struggling to make the weight against Floyd. Come on, Floyd, I thought you're the best in the world. This guy has one fucking title, and you need him not to be able to do, you know what I mean? Like, you got to negotiate back, maybe poke at his ego a little on why you got the green guy so many fucking demands, right? Or you look at the Gervanta Davis, maybe you go, wait a minute, you have a title at 140, but now you can't fight Ryan at 140? What are you, a fucking punk? Are you serious? Is Mario Barrios that fucking weak over there? Hey, Mario, we call Mario Barrios to see how he feels about you know what I'm saying? Like, poke these guys a little in the media. And if they run, they show their true colors anyways, right? But instead of just bowing down, all right, we'll give you 5 pounds, just seems that sometimes they're already in a losing disadvantage on Oscar. So I would not be surprised if Munguia does a PBC deal, but I hope not, because he's worked too hard to go off some phone. And listen, people, David Benavidez is all you guys running with the fucking story of Canelo walked from 60 million, 75 million. You,
Whatever.
dude, I love you, Lee. Lee would have ate this story to fucking death, man. He would have ate this one up. This is Steve Espinoza calculator shit at its finest. Miguel, this is that story coming to that joke coming to a full circle.
Yeah.
Have they ever worked this make-believe calculator harder than what they did this last week with the David Benavidez
and Canelo negotiations?
We're going to give them $50 million next week. We're going to give them $55 million next week.
Yeah.
Swear to God, it was $60 million.
Yeah, we got to put out that calculator and calculate that somehow. The supposedly, I mean, we even have David Benavidez himself saying that shit.
Yes.
Like, do you know that?
Delusional.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Because like even Eddie Hearn talked about like whenever they do talk to PBC, they're so unwilling to meet halfway. They're like, no, it's gonna be on our platform. You know, we do everything. We fucking all. It's like what? No, we're supposed to do like share revenue, whatever the fuck, right? It seems like PBC is they want to give this narrative that they're trying everything to really make the fight happen. When in reality, it's like we're gonna make the fight happen, but we get all the fucking money. Y'all fuck DAZN, fuck, already. It's like, no, you're gonna have to fucking fight these guys that are from the other promoter and on the other streaming services. So there's gonna be some sort of negotiation where they're gonna have to split some of the cost and therefore split some of the revenue. But it seems like PBC is unwilling to do that, and they're gonna try to blow this wind up our ass about how they're offering Canelo 50 and he's walking from it. It's like, well, okay, relax. And Eddie Hearn himself said it, like, dude, man. Not that I hold Eddie's word to the fucking Bible, but he talks about how Canelo laughs when people say that when he reads these things online, media outlets talking about how he's like, oh, he's ducking him, and he's running. Like, what the fuck is this? When have I ever ducked somebody? Like, get the fuck out of here. So there's always going to be haters. There's always and I understand that, but I wish we could just get to the bottom of this already, because it's for a certain point, to a certain degree, it's exciting. We're like, oh, there's negotiations going on, fuck, yada yada, and then it basically peaks, and I'm like, so are we gonna make the fight happen or not? I'm kind of bored of this shit. Like, it's too much, you know what I'm saying? And that's ultimately we're got the point to where we have gotten with Canelo and his options, really, with DAZN or whomever the fuck it's gonna be. So
no, it doesn't look good.
No, it
doesn't look good for Canelo anymore.
There's gonna have to be someone's gonna have to make a deal somewhere at some fucking point. You know what I'm saying? He still has fights owed to him, I guess. I don't know how the hell that's gonna work or how many more fights he's gonna have, because he completely. Well, I guess he split from PBC, so I doubt. Even though you said what you said about Oscar, we wouldn't be surprised if Oscar lets this one fucking slide and Munguia goes to PBC or something like that. I don't know. I don't see. It's tough to say.
It's a dumb move.
Yeah.
It's a dumb move. If to me, Oscar Al Heyman doesn't deserve this crutch from De La Hoya. Listen, I'm a big believer. I've always pushed that Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer tried to cross Oscar De La Hoya. Look, maybe they knew Oscar had troubles, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they knew the guy was partying way too much. He was fucking just off the chain, right?
Sure.
But instead of staying with them, mentoring them, trying to help him, they instead go behind his back, and I think they did try to take his company. They take all of his fighters, they sign them, they got all their guys talking shit about Oscar now. Like, it went all bad. Why Oscar would go ahead and give him this fight to do on their platform without being compensated, right? Like, maybe then you got to look at Canelo would have to agree to that, but maybe they're giving them a way bigger percentage. We're going back to the fake calculator.
Yeah,
like
percentage.
If the fight does this,
yeah,
you guys get
100% of zero is still zero. So it's like however much you want a percentage you want to add on there. If it only makes 45 fucking 60,000 pay-per-view buys, it's still 1% of that, so it's like we can do percentages, but it's percentage of what? That's the key. I hope we get some sort of solution or resolution soon, and we get to know who finally. What is the last that you've read as far as who's the leading candidate? Is it Munguia or is it Berlanga? What did you read?
The zone wanted Munguia, Berlanga. Canelo said no. He wanted Berlanga versus Munguia, and I have no fucking idea why Canelo would want. That's what was holding up the fight. I don't believe it. I believe it is money. I'm still going to go down to Canelo's pay-per-view buys in America do not add up to 35 million guaranteed, in my opinion, anymore. The fighters that used to get paid that were making a lot more money. Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, all of these dudes on pay-per-view against each other used to do 1 million buys, man. They were all doing 1 million buys. That's why they were able to get paid so much. You are making half of that, and sometimes not even reaching half of that. Yet you're trying to tell me you're the same guy.
Yeah.
You're not. And I think Canelo's clearly. We know Terrence got that.
Yeah.
Terrence went everywhere, and I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Terrence was at DAZN yesterday, so he's talking to Eddie again. I don't know, Connor Ben. I don't know, maybe someone else over there. But he's back at DAZN trying to do it again. Canelo went from Canelo's been all over the place.
Yeah.
He literally tried to go back to PBC to work out their relationship. Spent one night there. They had sex. They said, you know what? It doesn't work. And they left. Yeah, it was that. Yeah. They had that breakup sex, and then he realized he didn't like her again. Once you're done, you're like, damn, why did I do this? I don't want to be here. And now you're just praying that the girl says you can go, right? Because if it goes wrong, you're a total dick. But if Jesus says, you know what, I didn't like it either. Yeah, you got a little dick. Get out of here.
Yeah. Then it's that awkward morning when you're like putting on your shoes. You're like, you're like put on your shirt. Like
it didn't feel right.
Right. Is it just me, or are you feeling that we didn't really? we didn't really expect.
That's what the DAZN CEO. I think that's how their morning was. Him and Canelo.
Yeah. They woke up the next morning. They're like, wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be, huh?
Yeah. Eddie Hearn's in the corner, like it didn't. The performance just wasn't there. I didn't see.
Yeah. Well, Canelo's like, you want to have breakfast? And I was like,
no. Yeah, damn it.
Peace. All right. Never mind. I'm out of here. Yeah. The quicker you get out of here, the quicker I can jump in the shower.
So it's not a good look. He went back. He tried to patch it up. So I guess it didn't work. So now he's going back to his other girl.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Where are we at, Saul? Where are we at? How much money are you really worth if nobody wants to stay with you? Mm-hmm. How good are you in bed if nobody wants to stay with you?
Yeah, exactly. They hit it and quit it, and then you're off to the next fucking promoter. Unfortunately, that's the direction that we're going with this. So hopefully we get some sort of solution soon.
And me and you know that the PBC that's a bad sign, man. That's we're gonna pay you what you make. That's all that is. There's nothing guaranteed there. So if Canelo's at that level in his career, he's totally off of his prime. Yeah, he's out of his prime. He's on the. Yeah, it's just not. Yeah. It's not good.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I recently heard him like on. Was it in that interview what he did with whatever fuck what was Aztec? That he has said that he still wants to fight for another 5 years. Is that did I hear him correctly? Like,
yes.
So it's like you're gonna make it 5 years,
Miguel,
bro. Like I don't think you're gonna make it.
Miguel, he's gotten away with it though, right? He got away with it. And then he got away with it. He went to PBC, did their one fight. That didn't make the money that they paid him, but he still got paid. So he got away with it again, right? I know damn well PBC, Al Heyman, and them did not make the money back that they thought they were going to make off that Charlo fight. They just didn't. So, and then, DAZN was like, what the fuck, dude? We give this guy $300 million. None of his pay-per-views ever reached 1 million buys. We gave him $350 million.
Yeah.
So he's been getting away with it, but now the well is dried up. Now ESPN they've never even fucked with them. So Bob never even wanted anything to do with Saul Alvarez, which is blowing right there because Bob's worked with many great Mexican fighters. He knows how to turn a profit with that fan base. So that's kind of weird. That should be a red flag on Canelo's side. PBC has worked with them and walked. DAZN has worked with them and walked. The well is drying up. The next thing we're gonna see is like he's gonna be Don King. You're gonna see like Saul Alvarez promotions, and it's gonna be like a generic ass pay-per-view of just you know what I mean? Like that's where I'm serious. I think that's what his next move is. You know, like where are you going from here? PFL?
Yeah, right. We're gonna box in a cage, okay?
Oh man, maybe Dana. Yeah, maybe him and Dana do that fight night. Remember how Dana was trying to do a boxing series?
He was trying
to
do
it. Dana. I know Dana hates writing those checks, though. Never mind.
Oh, he does. Yeah, no, he does. I don't think, dude. If he doesn't pay his own fucking fighters, he's got a fucking organization of slap fighters. You know what the fuck? He's not gonna fucking sign no goddamn multi-million-dollar check. Well, we know where there is some money. Saudi Arabia. That's a nice little segue that we want to touch on because this weekend, we got the heavyweights, right? We got up whatever the hell the name of that city is. They always have the name of the city, but Francis Ngannou stepping back into the boxing ring to take on Anthony Joshua, former unified heavyweight champ. Wow. Well, this is okay. Well, there's the money, but now we get these circus fights, I guess. I don't know. I'm not even sure what to think about this because I was under the impression that we were going to get. Well, we were going to get Wilder and Joshua had Wilder won his fight. Had he beat Joseph Parker, that didn't go down. But now I guess, unfortunately, Joshua's like, well, I guess I'm left without a fucking opponent. So I guess, and then nothing happened with Fury. And he saw how great sort of a success Fury and Ngannou was. So he's like, all right, I'll tap of that. Sure. Bring some of that over here. And of course, his connection with Eddie Hearn, the English being very, very well acquainted with Saudi Arabia. There's where we're going this weekend. Well, not literally, but figuratively speaking, March 8th, which is, I believe, Friday, we said earlier, right? So they're going to have a Friday morning fight. I guess I don't know what time that would be, Saudi Arabia time, but here is Pacific Standard Time. It's like that fucking, like that family joke. It's like, no, it's Pacific Standard Time. It's very specific. All right, no, it's Pacific Standard Time. 7:30 a.m. on a Friday. That's when the fight's gonna go down. At least when the main card starts, or the card in general. We're gonna have Ngannou against AJ. I'm not quite sure what to think about it. For as much as a big heavyweight fight that it could be, I'm not really hearing that much about it. You know, there's not like that rumbling. There's not that rumbling going on that we are used to with big fights like that. I don't know where they stand. I mean, I was watching, I follow a lot of other media outlets on Instagram. Their promotional photo shoots where they're like punching each other. They fall over on the pads and everything. Kind of cool, but you mentioned it before. I don't think they give two shits about, the U.S. market, the U.S. pay-per-view market, or whatever it's going to be on. I assume it's going to be. I know it's DAZN, but I want to say it's DAZN worldwide, which sounds like it's going to be pay-per-view. I believe at least. I don't see why they wouldn't do pay-per-view for some guys like that.
It is. Yeah, it is.
So that's the direction we're going to go. I don't think they care, right, about the U.S. market. They're going to go to Saudi Arabia and make their money over there. Well, we got it. We finally got this shit show, kind of circus show that we're going to get on Friday. It's officially here. What are you thinking, Andrew?
Thinking nobody cares in America. I haven't seen the chat rooms talking about this fight. Look, the UFC has a very good stronghold on their audience.
Yes.
Dana White kind of blackballed Ngannou, and he's kind of lost all of that MMA clout. You don't see the MMA tapping into this, right? The MMA is usually very good at tapping into boxing stories, tapping into. Ryan Garcia was on the MMA show the other day. They will use us when they need us. Ngannou has pissed off the boss, so he's unusable anymore. So you're not seeing them push this fight. There is no, I thought this was a big moment to see a UFC heavyweight fighter in his prime go up against the best strikers in their prime and actually drop them. You would think the UFC would have that knockdown on the fucking replay, right? This is how bad they don't like him for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, because I mean, he tried to negotiate stuff, and here's the thing: he's left the UFC, and he went to their closest second people in row in line, the PFL guys, right? The guys in the fucking on ESPN Plus as well. They have a very good relationship with the Saudis as well. So they recently had they some time ago they purchased the PFL I'm talking about. They purchased the other organization out there, Bellator, and they brought a lot of their guys in and had a couple of champion versus champion type fights.
Okay.
And they're in their organization now. And I think they had that event in Saudi Arabia, I think, recently. So anyway, yeah, they did actually, because I think they had it in the morning over here. I'm remembering now. But anyway, they are the ones who are basically backing Ngannou up here. They're the ones that have his back here. They're trying to promote, but their fan base. I'm a fight fan, and I watch the PFL. I've covered some of their events, because, as a matter of fact, in April they're going to have an event here that I might cover as well on my actual channel, my MMA channel. But they're the only ones that are backing them up. You know what I'm saying? So they have some sort of backup, but the audience is nowhere near as big as the UFC audience. So you're not hearing it because I guess their expansion is not as big. They're not really getting it out there.
The MMA in America is UFC.
It is. It's like the NFL. It's like anybody else's fucking Canadian Football League, you know what I'm saying? Or XFL or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
So that's essentially what it is. That's precisely, you nailed it right on the head. That's exactly what it is. So we have the PFL guys backing them up, but who the fuck's that? I'm sure they got some deep pockets because they're cool with the Saudis, but they have yet to make any legitimate splash to say, okay, these guys they're by default the number 2 organization here in North America, at least. I'm hoping. Check this out. This is kind of my prediction. I'm thinking they're gonna have a boxing fight with Ngannou and AJ, and then have a rematch in the PFL in an MMA fight. I think that's the direction they're gonna go. Just spitballing here. I think they're gonna try to milk it.
I won't know that until the fight happens. Look, in boxing, Ngannou has a potential of making a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
so if he gets a win against one of these guys, I see them continuing to go try to work a way to a heavyweight title. You get a heavyweight title around him.
What if he loses, but still in impressive fashion, the way he did against Fury?
It's possible. It's all about the money. You know what I mean? Because what I was going to say, Miguel, is this was Anthony Joshua's last chance at Tyson Fury, getting a shot back at Fury. If he can knock Ngannou out cold, because look, man, there's no secret to Ngannou's power, to his skill level. Right now, that's on the table. You got to see this man for, I think it was 8 rounds. The fight was only 8 rounds with Fury.
I think, I don't remember.
I believe it was. Yeah, I thought it wasn't a full fight.
I think they did 10. They did 10. I think, or I'm 10 almost rounds. They did 10. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a full fight.
Yeah.
You have AJ has no fucking excuses here. Ngannou still showed a lot of flaws while he had that one knockdown versus Tyson. I don't have that fight close. Not as close as everyone else did. Tyson's overweight. He's not taking it. He's signing a Usyk fight before this one. He's damn near negotiating.
Yeah, like December, February. February was supposed to be the Usyk fight. So yeah, not only is he fat as fuck, but he's coming into this fight already thinking about what's ahead.
What's ahead? So Anthony Joshua has none of these excuses. Anthony Joshua only has the motivation that he should have been training to beat the hell out of this man to try to get back into the big leagues of boxing. This is an easy way. This is the easiest path back to a $40 million payday, and he can't let that go on Friday. I expect him to come out and handle Ngannou like a professional, but try to get him out of there quick, and then look at the camera, tell the UK it's time for fucking him and Fury, or him and maybe say winner of Fury Usyk, but with all your heart hoping that Tyson Fury is the winner of that fight. You know what I mean? Shit like that. But that's really all Anthony got left. He loses his fight, retire. Fucking retire because it's over. I'm done seeing you.
How likely? I mean, because obviously he's gonna come into this fight the favorite for obvious reasons. Um, how likely? Like, do you think we're gonna get one of these flash knockdowns where Ngannou drops? Because here's the thing: mentally speaking, Fury is a lot stronger mentally than AJ.
Yes.
So
Yep.
AJ gets dropped. I mean, he's been dropped by Klitschko, and he came back and he fucking right. He got dropped by fucking Ruiz, even though he lost that fight. But in the rematch against Ruiz, he came back. So he's been tagged. He's been dropped. Right. That's kind of a thing. He got tagged like a motherfucker against Usyk. I would hope that he's mentally strong to be like, I get dropped by Ngannou, who's got power, granted, but his skill level is way behind, light years behind. But can he? Is there a possibility that AJ gets dropped and then mentally shrinks?
Well, yes, of course. We've seen it happen. That's why Ngannou is a life underdog in this fight, is because we've seen that Anthony Joshua will crumble under pressure. Once he starts that, he gets hit and starts smiling bullshit. Oh yeah, his brain is now working. I took that shot. I always act like he gets happy that he took the punch. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like when he gets hit and he smiles, like
like he surprised himself. He's like, oh
yeah,
ha
didn't drop me.
Oh,
he was definitely. Remember when Emmanuel Stewart said it was only a matter of time before everyone found out Tommy Hearns didn't have a chin? Yeah. I feel like that was all the trainers when Joshua finally got his clock cleaned by Ruiz. They're all like, "Fuck, here we go."
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, got exposed. Because that's kind of like I don't think that's gonna happen because I think AJ is gonna have a much better game plan and he's gonna obviously be able to take him to school. Yeah, exactly right. Not fucking take that shit lightly the way Fury was. So I anticipate it now. Will he knock out Ngannou? What do you think? Like, you think he's gonna be like, I'm gonna tag his ass in the middle of rounds and then finish him off?
He has a potential of a TKO. He's a big man. He throws heavy punches. So they might, if he hurts Ngannou in a way where he can land a combination, it's going to be so big that they have no option but to stop it. So it will be an ending like that. For Ngannou, he can put AJ flat on his back. That might be, the guy doesn't have a chin. Ngannou dropped Fury. Fury doesn't have a good chin either, but the power is there. And he has the potential. But look, there shouldn't be I'm telling you, this should be a rude awakening for Ngannou because his element of surprise is now gone. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. He's now facing a legit heavyweight champion. Anthony was legit. You don't beat Klitschko and these guys go 12 rounds with Usyk twice and all this without having skill. So he's a legit fucking guy that got hands. We're going to see how good Ngannou is, really. This fight on Friday will show us who he is standing up. If he goes the distance with them and lands punches, I mean, shit, man. All right. You got what it takes because you fought two of the best now, and this one is on real terms. You've done good. If he goes out there and gets blown away, the PFL is taking a major hit, because... Yeah.
Are they really though? Because it's like but he's on the turf of AJ, so it's like, he's already expected to lose, no?
It goes back to the I guess when the bell rings, tackle him. That's your only game plan for the MMA. So be it. When the bell rings, shoot. Yeah. So be it. And you can go back to that argument. Well, he'll take him down and knock him out. Great. That's what will happen.
I guess I'm of the opinion that I think AJ is he's gonna come much more prepared, obviously, than Fury was when he fought Ngannou. So I think he's gonna catch him cold. He's gonna catch Ngannou early. I guess we can go into my prediction, I suppose. But like I kind of think he's gonna catch him early, and he's not gonna let him off the hook. Like I suspect the way we're gonna see, we might see the AJ of old, the power puncher coming in and fucking blow the fucking dude out the window. I suspect he's gonna be able to catch him early while he's maybe cold and hasn't warmed up yet, and then probably finish the fight. That's where I'm thinking, because I knew that. Well, I don't say no, but I thought at least that Fury was gonna play with Ngannou a little bit, take him into the later rounds where he's tired, just the way Floyd did with Conor, and then finish him in the later rounds. That's kind of what I was expecting because, yeah, Fury's a heavy puncher, but he generally is more of a volume and technical guy, and he wears you down over time the way he did it with previous opponents. So I thought that's kind of the direction he was going. AJ, not so much. AJ will take you into the fifth, sixth, and then fucking finish your ass off. So I'm not convinced. It's almost like I have to see who hits first, who lands first. Like if AJ lands first, he's gonna finish Ngannou. I think if Ngannou lands first, then he's gonna finish. He might be able to finish AJ. But it's almost like who's gonna land first, and technically, I think AJ is gonna do it. So obviously, right is now surprised. Like, obviously you're gonna go for the fucking boxer. Predict that he's gonna win. But we saw what happened with AJ and Fury and Ngannou. So who the hell knows? But that's the direction I'm going. Whoever lands first, whoever hurts their opponent first, I think is going to be able to finish him.
Yeah, that's a heavyweight fight. I mean, it could happen. I hope not for AJ's Anthony Joshua's sake, because that's not a good look. He had no excuses in this one. It's going to take a hit to his legacy. You know what I mean? Look, when Tyson came in at 300, and I think it was like 75 pounds or so, he was like close, pushing fucking 400. I knew it wasn't going to be it just didn't seem, it was like, how could you get that fat? He didn't take him serious, man. I remember his side was just all jiggling. It was a terrible look for Tyson Fury that night. Obviously, we've seen what he looked like in the training for Usyk, right? Totally different fighter. Sure. That guy probably would have danced circles around Ngannou. You know what I mean? Where Ngannou had never seen this type of fighting. I'm dead. It's not the same. No. And Anthony Joshua isn't that type of fighter. He's not the light on your feet boxer, but he throws combos. He hits hard. He's got enough. I'm interested to see what happens.
I think AJ can beat him with a fucking jab. Stick that jab in his fucking face and don't let him get close. It's like, I know obviously it's easier said than done, but you should be able to do it. You're the fucking professional boxer. He isn't. You should be able to catch him. And with bigger gloves, they're not going to be able to sneak into the crevices the way MMA gloves can. So, it like you said, I'm interested, and it's very intriguing. I'm going to watch. Of course, I'm going to watch, right? Whether or not I'll pay for it is another story, but I'm going to fucking watch for it. And, and I might... I don't know if I'll watch the whole card because I don't want to fucking wake up and goddamn 7 something or other while I'm on vacation on the beach somewhere to watch it. But I'll watch the main event. But I will watch the main event. I will do that. So when the time comes for the main card to start, I'll tune in and I'll catch it. And I'm kind of happy to some degree that it's going to be in the morning so I can have the rest of the evening on Friday to myself to do whatever I fucking want to do. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Those are the few times that I'm like, oh, this worked to my benefit, that we're going to get some early Saudi fucking boxing or English boxing, whichever direction they go. But I haven't checked the odds or anything like that, but I can assume that AJ would be the favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a favorite.
I haven't checked him either, but no, it's got to be Joshua because of the element of surprise is gone, right? Yeah. And if you really watch the fight with Fury, Fury did control the fight. He just looks bad doing it. He looked fat, he looked off balance, but Ngannou did not have that many good moments in that fight. He took a lot of punches. He won because he stood up. That's why Ngannou won. He dropped them and he didn't get embarrassed. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, look at that!" And they were right. That was Tyson Fury's fault. Glad he snuck out of there with the victory. Now I need AJ to show him what this real shit is about. You know what I mean? None of this. We're playing a game. Let's all make some money. It was a $10 million sparring match. That's literally what it was for Fury.
Yeah.
He literally got paid to go in there on an off day, probably ate breakfast. All that shit I just explained to you about.
Yeah, had an argument with the wife, Yeah, no.
Joke.
Yeah, it's a
Poor
joke.
AJ, we're like, this is the fight of his career.
Yeah.
If he loses this fight, he's done.
Yeah.
That's so sad for Anthony.
Against a non-fucking boxer. You lose this fight, homie. I hope you understand. Like, that's pretty much it as far as chances. We talked about fucking Canelo and running out of options. You're there already, bro. So, let's do it.
And then it would be Wilder. Hey, listen. it's bullshit that they're acting like they couldn't have just went to the Wilder fight, even with Wilder losing. Those two have a good enough name. And they're not going to make 20 million, Miguel. Let's pump the brakes on. They're not. It's not Lewis versus Mike Tyson.
No.
But they could have made enough money to both had millions. $5 million each. That is not hard for two heavyweights to make, especially of their caliber. In the UK, that thing would have sold out. In America, it would have done a decent amount of pay-per-views, enough to pay them that type of money, right? So no, I think they're trying to use. They're trying to use Saudi. They're trying to use the PFL and then Ngannou's name. I mean, let's not joke around here. They know they got the upper hand in this.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, let's go make some extra money. Then we'll fight Wilder. They're gonna fight Wilder anyways. That's probably why. Yeah. That's probably why Wilder hasn't announced shit, bro. He's just waiting for this fight to end, and then they'll go back to the negotiating table. And I think Wilder versus James happens either in Saudi Arabia or did I say Anthony Joshua? It'll either happen in Saudi Arabia or it'll happen in the UK. I still think they sell out 80,000 in the UK. You got to remember, the UK fans love seeing Americans fall, and I don't give a shit what you guys tell me. That's the history. That they fucking cheer out there when their guys are beating up the Americans. Probably they probably look at us the same way. Obviously, I was cheering when Floyd beat them. So they love seeing it. That's why Roy made good money out there. Evander Holyfield made good money out there. We've seen fighters go to the UK, older fighters, and make a few checks because their promoters will put them up against their young guys. That would work for Wilder. I think there's a lot of UK fans that would still be interested in seeing Joshua Wilder.
Yeah, or even like if UK, I mean, if Joshua goes over there and fights Dubois or something like that, right? Like that. That's another UK dude. You know, what's the other guy's name? Fucking Joe Joyce. You know, go out there, fight those dudes. You know, you're gonna make some fucking good money. You're a recognizable name, and people are gonna pay to see you lose. If you can get a victory, great. But they're gonna want to pay to see you lose. But they'll pay good money to do it.
Right.
So as we have that to look forward to this weekend, you know, early weigh-ins on Thursday, early fights on Friday. A little uncharacteristically, usually it's on Saturdays, but fuck it, Friday boxing is good enough for me, especially if it's early in the day. But I think we got through all of our topics. I don't know if there was anything else we wanted to touch on, but Andrew, was there anything else we wanted to
add? No, we should be good right now. Ryan Garcia is still in the fight. That's a positive. We got Ngannou versus Joshua. We got Floyd versus Devin. Do you think we could ever see a Floyd versus Devin? Do you think that that's possible?
No.
Floyd can't make 147 no more?
No. I don't think he's going to do it. I mean, he can because the dude is a gym rat. He's not, you know, he's not fucking, you know.
But what if he's Dollar Bill Floyd? What if the rumors of Dollar Bill Floyd is true?
Well, if that's the case, then he might price himself out. He's going to do the Broner thing and be like, okay, I'll come back for $130 million. Like, no, fuck out of here. No. So I don't think he wants it because, I mean, the last time he fought somebody fucking young, which I don't even remember who the fuck it was, you know, at that point it's already out the fucking, maybe Victor Ortiz for all, if I can remember correctly. Right. But, you know, fighting Connor and Andre Berto on the way out, it's like, no, you know, he's done with that already. The only ones that he wants is to make money, the exhibition with Manny, stuff like that.
Because he never passed the torch. You know what I mean?
Right. No, well,
he never passed the torch,
and that was deliberate. He wants. That's what always, you know, irks me about fucking Floyd. It's like it doesn't. The younger fighters, you don't get in the ring with the younger fighters. I mean, the guys that he's representing or something like that, like Gervanta, don't get in the ring. Let him have his fucking, you know. But he's not gonna. He'll do anything to get that. He hops on a fucking treadmill. Somebody records it, you know, some media outlets like, oh, Floyd is returning. You know, it's like, he's just joking. Relax. You know, it's like, stop. So he loves having the spotlight on him. He's not going to do that shit. A risk potentially getting actually smoked by a fucking young cat who's supposed to be his predecessor now. Yeah.
Start selling the watches.
Yeah. And the cars and, turn
into the Rocky movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Rocky. It's rags to riches to rags. That's what the fuck the Rocky story is, you know. So yeah, we hope he didn't, you know, burn those fucking $100 bills, wiping his ass or whatever it is that he does with them. But yeah, I don't anticipate that ever happening. No.
It's either Bill knows something about his finances, or Bill's clowning him for being the club owner of a strip club, calling him Dollar Bill Floyd. Talking about Dollar Bill, I was thinking finances, but now when you think about it, maybe because he throws dollar bills all day at the strip club. I don't know. But interesting take on them two now getting into it. It's not how do you say this? Devin's great, but Floyd might think he can take him, right? So he's going to make $100 million, and he's the favorite possible. I still think media outlets would have Floyd the favorite. You do your training videos. He's jump roping the same. He's hitting the mitts the same, right? I think they might have him the favorite if he came back. It's a Sugar Ray. Look, Leonard came 5 years and fought Hagler, bro. What the fuck? So Floyd he's not fighting Hagler.
Right.
And it makes good money. The Manny Pacquiao rematch, that's a beg me fight of both of them. That's a Roberto Duran Leonard fucking 10 years later going, please. Uno mas, not no mas. It was uno mas at that one.
It's a Sugar Ray and Hector Camacho type of fucking
fight. That's a good one, eh? The second fight is no mas. The fifth fight or whatever is uno mas. That's a good one.
Un cheque mas. One more check. Uno mas. Yeah. All right. I'll take it. That works.
Yeah, shit. So Bill's poking the bear. Devin called him out on Instagram, right? It's interesting. It wouldn't shock me because we've seen boxing do this. We know that a lot of the big guys that run boxing knows that torch truly does have to get passed. It really, it's not supposed to just stay there. Someone needs to get a crack at you.
Well, that's the thing though. I think Floyd is such a selfish dude that he's not gonna want to pass.
Well, it would be fine. It'll be money though this time, bro.
I don't know. Well, okay, maybe, but I get the impression that his O and his record is greater than money. I don't think, because obviously there's a much bigger chance of him losing now that he's older, fighting a younger dude who's on the rise and at a weight class that probably he hasn't been in fucking forever. When the hell was the last time he fought? I think he fought a Conor at like 150 something or something.
Oh yeah, that was Conor. I was thinking Berto. I'm thinking Berto is his last.
It might have been Berto. Yeah, I think you're right. It might have been Berto. But was that was a 147, right? That was at welterweight, I think. I don't remember what it was. Yeah. But when the hell that was. So it's just like I don't see him because here's the thing. Making the weight and performing are two different fucking things. Can he make the weight? Sure. Can he perform like he used to after making the weight? Ooh, that's a different story. So I think that's just too much of a risk. He's so selfish. He does not want to pass the torch because passing the torch means losing. And I think that's more.
And I totally hear you on that. My whole side of this is all about Floyd. It's kind of Floyd selling his O. Floyd knows that he would be on the downside. The Vegas making him the favorite is just because that's where the money would be going, right? That's where the degenerate gambler or whatever, the Floyd lovers, they're all gonna put. So that's what I'm not thinking Floyd's the favorite. I don't think Floyd thinks he's the favorite. But if Floyd's hurting big enough, what's the price for him to pass that torch? That's kind of where I'm getting. Do you think it's possible that Floyd ever comes? Because that clock is ticking. We're getting there. Because even, you know what, Manny talked about coming back the other day and fighting Gervanta Davis. And you know what I said? I'd watch it. Manny's hella old, Miguel. And I still said in my mind when I heard it, and I forgot, it was a few months ago. You heard it, right? When Manny said
when they brought the name down. That's how I did hear.
So while the clock is ticking, they still have an opportunity to make a check because I thought it for Manny, and Manny's nowhere near where Floyd is. Floyd's still undefeated. So if Floyd was to be like, you know what, fuck you and your daddy, I'd be like, he's coming back, right? I'd be all in on buying, but it's Leonard coming back.
Yeah, well, okay, so going in that direction, going in that rabbit hole, let's make it logical or plausible. Floyd comes back and says, Gervonta's not going to fight him. I'll fight him. PBC pay-per-view on Amazon, no guarantee.
Prime. That's the Amazon Prime all day.
No guarantee though. They're gonna probably make more than 1 million pay-per-view buys. Probably Devin and him can do it. Floyd specifically. There's no guarantee though.
There's no guarantee, but he would be making so much of the pot that the contract would be nobody gets paid until Floyd gets paid. That's going to be the contract. So whatever money's in that fucking fight is going to Floyd first. And Devin would sign and Bill and Al Heyman would sign it because the potential of the payout coming from that fight is way greater than anything else. So if Floyd says, "Hey, you ain't touching a dime until I make 60 million," and that's not his percentage, that's his guarantee. No one else is getting paid until I see this amount. They're all signing off on that. They would all, and then he gets a percentage
So then it would be a guarantee to some degree. Then it will have to be
some degree because it's Floyd. Because Floyd is guaranteed 60 million. That dude, he could fight his shadow probably. You know what I mean? And they're gonna give him that much money. His fans, they showed up for everyone. It seemed he made 110 million fighting the fucking Paul brother. They said he made 100 million that night. You know what I mean? So I think that Amazon deal only works for Floyd because he has so much power. Hey, he's like Mike Tyson, bro. He comes back to pay-per-view, he makes 50 million. It's just Mike. All right. So that's where they would take it. And then Bill and Devin are all in because come on, now we're going back to logical boxing minds. They're like, we got the total upper hand. Hey, he hasn't fought in 5 years. His timing's off. Right? They're all counting they're counting their money of the next fights that are gonna happen after you take out the Don. You got
and I think it has to happen. Like I don't think it will, but that passing of the torch has to fucking happen. You know what I'm saying? And even if it has to be pried from his fucking hands, it's gonna have to happen. So I would love for it to happen, and then him passing the torch, and he can quit that fucking 50-0 or 51-0 or whatever the shit. Just add that.
Or he wins.
Or he wins.
Or he wins, and the fucking saga continues. I mean, Sugar Ray won. He didn't just walk away. He fights again and again and again. Hey, the money's too big. That's why they let him starve. He's been out since what, 15? Or I guess in the real fights since 18. He's been out of real boxing. Right. Something like that. He fights Manny, I think, in 2015.
Yeah, he does. He fights him definitely in 15. He fights Connor in 16, if I'm not mistaken. 16, 17, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then Berto.
Okay.
Whatever the fuck that is. I forgot.
So he's been out for about 5 years. He's been spending a lot of money. I know he has other investments, but we know Floyd he buys $1 million gifts. He doesn't buy $100 gifts.
I'm not sure how well his other investments are going. So his main
what
money
you mean his record label?
his whatever the fuck his promotion or boxing promotions, Mayweather Promotions or his record label or his brand of clothing or whatever the fuck ever investing. Investing in horse racing or whatever the fuck else he puts money into. I'm not sure he's that keen up here to be able to make money elsewhere. I mean, I'm sure he can, find those fucking TBE hats that people wear, sure, to some degree, but that's not the money.
Haven't seen one of those in years. Yeah,
I still see, because I live in Vegas and he's here, so leaving the city and coming back, he's still got that billboard.
I'm gonna say there's a corner in his garage that has a bunch of TBE boxes.
Unopened merch, just kind of like chilling there. Yeah. I don't think his other investments are going nowhere near as good as a boxing fight would go for him. So maybe he's starved. Maybe he's depressed. Maybe he needs to come back. Possibility. All right, fantastic. Well, that was fun. We got ourselves a nice 2-hour show, robust 2-hour show out of this. Thank you all once more, as always, I should say, for joining us and listen to us ramble about the sport. We will be back next week. Yes, I will be recording from wherever the hell I'm at next week. So we'll definitely make it happen. And it'll be nice and early in the day. We're looking forward to see what happens with Ngannou and AJ, or should I say AJ Ngannou, I guess, because he's the boxer. Say his name first. He'll be on the left on the poster, I assume. Looking forward to see what happens there and the continuing saga of Canelo and where the fuck he'll land. But whatever happens, you best believe we're going to be there to talk about it. So please join us next week. We will definitely be back with some more juicy shit talk. And we thank you, as always, once more for joining us. So have yourselves a great weekend.
Take care, guys.